Drake is hungry to go round 2 with Kendrick Lamar.
Round 2 is coming. Round 2 is coming.
Kendrick just topped off a blockbuster summer by announcing he'd be headlining next year's Super Bowl halftime show. After delivering a chart-topping knockout blow with Not Like Us and an insane victory lap with his Juneteenth pop-out concert in LA, this Super Bowl announcement is just the latest example of Kendrick stacking up win after win against Drake. Drake just last year claimed that he was big as the what? Big as the Super Bowl. And that one didn't age too well. But Drake's latest moves show that the beef is far from over.
Big as the Super Bowl.
At first, Drake really seemed like he wanted to put the beef behind him. In the immediate aftermath of Kendrick and Drake trading disses, Drake hinted that he was eager to turn the page and focus on something else. On May 12th, just a week after Kendrick released Not Like Us, Drake put up an Instagram story that featured a drawing of a samurai warrior facing down an army. The story included the caption, "Good times, summer vibes up next." The message seemed pretty clear. Drake was downplaying the back and forth between him and Kendrick and wanted to move on. Drake's first post-beef appearance was on Sexy Red's song, You My Everything, which dropped on May 24th. The song even featured a section where Drake rapped on the viral BBL Drizzy beat that was cooked by one of his newer ops, super producer Metro Boomin.
BBL Drizzy, they want a new body, they asked me for it. The last one, John, he did it for free cause I sent over so many passwords for him. But
then on June 4th, Drake released a strange collab record called Wagwan Delilah with Toronto artist Snow Day.
Wagwan Delilah, no, I'm late cause there's bad traffic. I just showed my dog a gram.
The song was so left field that a lot of fans were just confused. A video surfaced of the Plain White T's themselves listening to the song in disbelief that Drake actually recorded it. Then on June 9th, Drake quietly deleted all his posts on Instagram that referenced the beef, including posts that announced diss tracks like Family Matters and The Heart Part 6. Drake really seemed like he wanted to put as much distance between him and the battle as possible. But when Drake pivoted to those summer vibes he was talking about, he didn't quite get the reaction he was looking for. He recorded 2 songs, Hot Uptown and Ugly, with Camilo Cabello, but when the album finally dropped, it sold a disappointing 36,500 copies, debuting at number 13 on the Billboard charts, which is Camilo's first album to not chart inside the top 10. Adding insult to injury, DJ Head, an industry insider and longtime associate of Kendrick Lamar, implied that Drake blocked Camilo Cabello from releasing Hot Uptown as a single because he was worried about how being on a pop record would look while he was in the middle of a rap beef with Kendrick. Plus, Drake was using another fake Jamaican accent on the song, adding even more credibility to Kendrick's attacks on Euphoria. Drake also dropped a 2-pack of songs with the EDM producer Gordo. While the songs Healing and Sideways received positive reviews, neither tracks were released as singles and neither one of them managed to chart on the Hot 100. Since Drake's summer vibes weren't exactly panning out, he decided to pivot in a really dramatic way. On August 6th, Drake surprised everyone by promoting a new platform called 100 Gigs. The website featured a treasure trove of unreleased Drake content, including 3 new songs, studio footage, tour rehearsals, and unused cover art. With a whopping 100 gigabytes of material to sort through, 100 Gigs featured a rare behind-the-scenes look at Drake during some of the most pivotal moments of his career. In one clip, Drake can be seen discussing the 2016 song Too Good with his mom, where he confirms that the song was meant to be about his ex-fling, Serena Williams. Just weeks later, Drake decided to re-up on a whole new data dump on 100 Gigs. Not only did Drake put out another 3-pack of songs, but he also dropped even more never-before-seen footage. While this avalanche of new material at first seems like a random hard drive dump, 100 Gigs is actually way more curated than you might think. In fact, a lot of this archival footage seems like a way for Drake to shape the narrative around his beef with Kendrick. In one clip, Drake is seen listening to an unreleased beat with his longtime engineer 40, where the two of them discuss getting Kendrick to do a verse on the song.
Oh, but when he told me Kendrick, it just made so much sense. Oh, this is brilliant. Oh.
Drake even released soundcheck footage of him and Rihanna performing their hit collaboration Take Care, which seems like a pretty pointed shot towards his former collaborator turned enemy, turned Rihanna's baby daddy, A$AP Rocky. But Drake's provocations to restart the beef were a lot more direct in his new music. While Drake avoided naming names, his 100 Gig songs packed numerous references to his various beefs. On It's Up, Drake linked up with Young Thug and 21 Savage and seemed to fire more shots at A$AP Rocky. After dissing Rocky on Family Matters, Drake seemed to have spun the block again, rapping, This not only seems like a reference to Rocky's debut album Long Live ASAP, but a callback to the internal strife and tragedy that has plagued Rocky's now defunct group ASAP Mob. Not only did founding member ASAP Yams pass away of an overdose in 2015, but Rocky's currently facing criminal charges for allegedly shooting ASAP Rocky in 2021. 21 Savage also sparked controversy for lines that seem to target Kendrick Lamar. Since 21's a close collaborator of Drake and was name-checked by Kendrick on Not Like Us, theories started to go viral that Savage was inheriting Drake's beef with Kendrick. However, just a day after the song dropped, 21's team clarified to DJ Academics that Savage was not dissing Kendrick and the whole thing was just a speculation. It seems no matter how tight 21 is with Drake, he really does not want all the smoke. Drake seemingly referenced the beef just a couple weeks later when he dropped No Face, a collaboration with Playboi Carti. Drake seemingly addresses his former allies turned ops rapping. You break it down, Drake not only seems to be calling out artists like Kendrick, Future, YG, Rocky, and The Weeknd, who he previously worked with, but also promoting the theory that Kendrick's record-shattering Not Like Us streaming numbers were juiced by bots. On No Face, Drake even teased that he was plotting to attack Kendrick again. Even doubled down by posting a clip on social media that featured former Detroit Pistons player Rasheed Wallace promising to win Game 2. But is Drake's new strategy with 100 gigs pure genius or pure desperation?
But, I mean, we could kind of look at this as kind of an antic, no?
By uploading new music to his 100 gigs website and Instagram, Drake pretty much bypassed the traditional release model. Instead of dropping new tracks directly on the streaming platforms, Drake seems to be trying out a mixtape strategy to preview his big comeback. These new songs are intended as standalone singles like Lucy's and intended only for fans. While songs like It's Up didn't initially premiere on streaming services, they were later uploaded to platforms where they put up impressive numbers. It's Up pulled in 2 million streams in just one day, landing at number 28 on the Hot 100. But it's totally possible that Drake would have put up even bigger numbers if he debuted the song on streaming platforms directly instead of on 100 gigs. So what is the master strategy here? It's possible that by releasing music on 100 gigs and then putting the songs on streaming, Drake is avoiding being directly compared to Kendrick Lamar's blockbuster numbers for Not Like Us, which is still in the top 10 with 17 plus weeks on the charts. It also gives Drake an opportunity to soft launch his music for core fans. Instead of targeting a broader audience, Drake can still release his music without the kind of scrutiny that might come with a high-profile comeback rollout. It also meant that some of Drake's new music isn't exactly cleared for official release. His new song, Blue Green Red, was removed from streaming because of a copyright dispute over the sample. And when No Face landed on streaming, it was missing the Playboi Carti feature from Drake's 100 gigs release. But this release strategy isn't new territory for Drake. In fact, he's been doing this his entire career. Some of his most well-known songs like Hotline Bling, To 0 to 100, and Summer 16 were all released non-traditionally instead of being dropped as official singles. While that might seem counterintuitive for an artist that focuses so much on numbers, it also gives Drake a chance to connect organically with his fan base and build buzz without worrying about trying to top the charts. When you add up all the songs Drake's dropped recently, and we haven't even mentioned some of them like SOD, Circadian Rhythm, and Housekeeping Knows, you basically have enough songs for a whole album. This strategy basically makes it intentionally difficult for industry insiders to keep up. It's almost as if he's waiting for the right song to hit big so he can stage the takeover of the charts. While all this is going on, Drake's new maneuvers have come with some criticism. After Kendrick called out Drake for being a colonizer towards Atlanta artists, many fans noticed that Drake was still leaning heavily on A-Town rappers for support, since Young Thug, 21 Savage, and Lotto are all featured across the 100 gigs drop. By avoiding an all-out chart battle with Not Like Us, Drake still hasn't dodged the allegations that he's trying to fire shots at Kendrick without directly engaging him. But it's hard to believe that anyone, especially Drake, was ready for that announcement that Kendrick would be headlining next year's Super Bowl halftime show.
Did you know Kendrick Lamar's performing at the Super Bowl? What?
Kendrick famously appeared at the 2022 Super Bowl in LA alongside Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Eminem, Mary J. Blige, and 50 Cent. But his upcoming appearance in 2025 makes Kendrick the first solo rap artist to ever anchor a halftime show. Not only is this a history-making accomplishment for Kendrick Lamar and his company PG Lang, but it's also yet another chess move in his war against Drake. On First Person Shooter, Drake's chart-topping collab with J. Cole, Drake bragged about his team up with Cole as being as big as the Super Bowl, only for Kendrick to swoop in and literally grab the halftime show for himself. The announcement that Kendrick would be performing at Super Bowl 59 also came with some blowback. Lil Wayne, Drake's longtime mentor and label boss, was widely seen as a top contender for the 2025 halftime show in his hometown of New Orleans. Charlamagne the God spoke up on The Breakfast Club saying that while he was happy to see Kendrick hold down the halftime show, a Lil Wayne headlining slot would have probably guaranteed an appearance from Drake himself. And that is definitely not happening now. Not to mention, the announcement triggered a pissed-off rant from none other than Nicki Minaj, who defended Wayne and insinuated that Kendrick's selection was all part of a conspiracy instigated by none other than Jay-Z's company Roc Nation, which works closely with the NFL to produce the halftime show. Finally, Kendrick's halftime show announcement came with a pretty obvious rebuttal to all the talk about Drake making a comeback. In the promotional video, Kendrick says straight up,
"You know it's only one opportunity to win a championship, no round twos."
It sounds a lot like Kendrick heard all that talk about Drake wanting to re-up for Game 2 and choose violence. Did Kendrick's Super Bowl announcement throw another wrench in Drake's game plan, or are we just moments away from seeing tensions escalate all over again? Only time will tell, but make sure you stay tapped in with us to hear it here first.
5, threaten to shoot Kendrick Lamar when he catches him in his hometown. Is Kendrick's life in danger the next time he goes to Toronto? The last thing you think would happen is Kendrick Lamar getting into a shootout in Canada over a rap beef with Drake. But the boy's alleged shooter says otherwise. Top 5, a local Toronto rapper, is inviting Kendrick to Toronto so he can have a meeting with his bullets and get Swiss cheese. And he's gonna do it LA style. But all that talk didn't go without some of Kendrick's people responding to it. Now, there may be an all-out war happening, and Top 5 says Drake may be a part of it firsthand. Ever since he was released from jail, Top 5 has been on a crazy media run, specifically to threaten Kendrick Lamar and anyone riding with him. He's clearly not afraid to potentially get in more trouble for sending violent threats at anyone after already beating a murder charge in Toronto. If he stays free after everything he's been through, there could be a chance he keeps his word when he runs into Kendrick. But what are the odds of that? Kendrick Lamar usually stays pretty low-key when it comes to public appearance. He definitely popped out and showed everyone that he's willing to go bar for bar with anyone, including one of the biggest artists in music. Top 5 is trying to prove to everyone that he will do the same in defense of that artist. Will it actually go down? Top 5 may think so. He showed up on a show to talk about what he wants to do to Kendrick. He says he wants to Swiss cheese him after he and Drake get together to do their homework on everyone involved in a Not Like Us video.
Ain't no scared.
Scared of what? Kendrick Lamar?
Yeah, you're scared of Kendrick?
Tell him come to Toronto. Swiss cheese.
Toronto rapper says he isn't taking any disrespect when it comes to Drake. Since he and Drake are locked in so tight, he's gonna make sure he keeps his name and dignity as high up on the totem pole as possible, even if it means catching a murder charge for him. Inviting Kendrick and anyone with him to Toronto so he could do a drive-by shooting on him is definitely a choice of words after what he's been through. Top 5 was released from jail after beating a first-degree murder of an accounting student. What's weird is Toronto News, and even the judge on the case, says the student had nothing to do with gangs or anything. So really, it was just a senseless act of violence. Unfortunately for the victim and his family, there wasn't sufficient evidence to lock up Top 5 for the charge. He spent 3 years in jail after cutting off his ankle bracelet and fleeing to Los Angeles before being caught. He revealed Drake helped him with his lawyer fees and even showed a screenshot of a conversation between them where Drake was extremely happy everything worked out in his favor. So now he's on the loose with all the threats he has for Kendrick Lamar. People close to Kendrick aren't feeling Top 5 threats like that. One of Kendrick's neighborhood friends, hitter J3, is inviting Top 5 to do whatever he says he's gonna do. They even got on the phone and had a few words with each other directly when academics connected them. To put things in perspective, hitter J3 revealed he's the cousin of Orlando Anderson, the guy who allegedly shot and killed Tupac. He was even riding with Anderson's brother at the time of the call. So all of that was to say he is not someone Top 5 wants to play with. Just for comedic relief as well, hitter J3 posted a video of Top 5 being punked by some people in Toronto before being threatened to get shot the minute he tried to puff up his chest. So the fact that he's talking so tough, especially bragging about the murder he beat, while also having that type of ammo against him, doesn't seem to scare Hitter J3 or anyone else for that matter so much. And there's a chance it doesn't scare Kendrick either. What's the chances of Kendrick Lamar visiting Toronto now that the beef has reached this point? Top 5 dares Kendrick to go to the same Chinese restaurant he rapped about New Ho King, so he could really see how gangsta he is. New Ho King is the same Chinese restaurant Drake got robbed at years ago while he ate. Kendrick says he would be at that restaurant with food and a blammy just to show that he's the wrong one to play with, unlike Drake. Maybe that's where Top 5 believes everything will go down at. If he's down with catching another charge, then more power to him, I guess. But if there's one thing we know about threats, it's that it can cause other people to get hurt too. And in this case, if Top 5 isn't around to stand on his threats, then whoever else in OVO that decides to march around LA could get touched too. We've already seen Rick Ross get touched up by some random guys in Canada when he visited and tried to walk around like the big Don Dada while Not Like Us played. Who's to say the same thing can't happen with anyone from OVO? Thinking Future's beef is getting so heated, Young Thug is trying to stop it from behind bars.
Ooh, like fire! So start melting ladies, because the boy is hotter than hot.
But will he just make things worse?
If my help's not appreciated, lots of luck, gentlemen.
It's been a while since Future sent major shots at Drake alongside Metro Boomin and Kendrick Lamar. So long that it's starting to affect people that weren't involved to begin with. Young Thug has chimed in on the feud between Future and Drake.
Parking lot, after school, it's on.
He wants them to stop beefing and come back together so all three of them can make magic like they used to.
I hate to lecture you guys, but
But are his attempts falling on deaf ears? There's been so many things said so far to the point where it looks like certain relationships are severed forever.
Why?
How does Future feel about Thug trying to mend things from jail? How does Drake feel? No one knew Future and Drake had any issues until Future and Metro Boomin dropped their project We Don't Trust You. Fans have been calling the entire project a diss to Drizzy in some way, shape, or form.
And I don't like any of you.
But things got real heated when their song Like That featured a fuming Kendrick Lamar, who did everything but call out specific names in the shots he took. J. Cole immediately responded to it before taking back his words and apologizing.
It's amazing. You are 100% wrong.
Drake, however, antagonized Kendrick to drop whatever diss tracks he had for him after dropping 2 himself. Then, all hell broke loose. The 2 rappers were sending direct disses to each other before you knew it. During the battle, Drake addressed the issues Future had with him, and according to him, he didn't know they had issues at all. It looks like the person he was most confused with during this entire ordeal was Future, not even Rick Ross, who took personal shots at Drake when Kendrick's verse started heating up the streets and airwaves.
Gossip Queen. You ready?
Some people believe Future isn't rocking with Drake over a woman. There have been rumors of Thames being the reason why they haven't been seeing eye to eye. It would be kind of weird if that was the case, considering how notorious they are for getting any woman they want. But there isn't any confirmation about them beefing over women. Fact of the matter is, there is smoke.
Where there is smoke, there is fire.
Perhaps Drake wants to know why there's issues if he truly doesn't know why Future isn't dealing with them anymore. Looks like Young Thug wants to know too. Young Thug has been far away from this beef. While all these songs were being released, Thug was handling his battles in court. He's been locked up in Cobb County Jail since 2022 on RICO charges that involve multiple accusations associated with murder, gang violence, and other notorious charges that could have him sitting in prison for a long time. Despite the amount of time he's facing, Thug still wants peace between Drake and Future. He got on X and directly mentioned Drake and Future in a tweet, telling both of them that they need to come back together because they're all brothers. But will it actually happen? Although Thug is sitting in jail, he could very well be getting all the news going on in the streets by multiple people. And who knows how it's being told to him.
You can't handle the truth.
However it's clearly not sitting right with them. That's a pretty kind gesture to get in the middle of their beef and try to squash things, but things may have gone too far to do anything about it now. Drake and Future don't seem to have tried mending anything. Future is going through another mixtape run, while Drake is trying to catch more traction with his music even while folks are advising him to take a break for a while. For all we know, this may not be as important as it is to Thug. Doesn't mean they won't see Thug trying, though. Right after Young Thug sent the tweet, screenshots of Future retweeting it started going around. Perhaps Future feels the same about reuniting with Drake, and it wouldn't be surprising if Drake is down with it, especially if he really doesn't understand why there was animosity in the first place. A retweet can go a long way, but at the end of the day, both Future and Drake would have to come together and talk about everything.
Then we have a deal.
Including the reason Future started lashing out. If they decide to squash everything, does that mean Future will strip like that from everything and everywhere?
The whole world, look around you. Look at this. We created this.
It's been a #1 hit record since it dropped, topping the charts not only in America, but Canada, Europe, and Oceania too. There's a lot of accolades to go with the song and everything that came with it. It's cemented in hip-hop history at this point. Taking it back would be like J. Cole apologizing to Kendrick for dissing him. If it happens, then what type of domino effect will it cause this time?
Might be ready to go to war over Kendrick Lamar performing at next year's Super Bowl instead of Lil Wayne.
Well, what were you feeling? I felt like I wanted to punch him in his face. Okay.
On September 8th, the rap game was left extremely divided by the announcement that Kendrick Lamar would be anchoring Super Bowl 59 in New Orleans, Louisiana. You might assume that the people angriest about this news would be Lil Wayne or Drake, but no, there was nobody as mad and shook up about the news as the queen of rap herself, Nicki Minaj. So what we're gonna do today is break down Nicki's complicated history with the music industry, from her epic rise to what may be considered a huge downfall. So let's start at the beginning. How did Nicki Minaj first rise to power?
To survive is to stay alive in the face of opposition.
Nicki spent years hustling in New York as an up-and-coming rapper, uploading music to MySpace, releasing free mixtapes, and appearing in freestyle videos. Little did she know that a clip from one of those underground rap DVDs would end up in the hands of New Orleans rapper Lil Wayne, who was in the process of putting together a roster for his very own record label, Young Money Entertainment. When Nicki's raps caught his attention, he became her mentor and signed her to his label.
I wanted to make sure she had two things. She did not sound like Foxy, do not sound like Kim. And when I heard Nick was sounding like me.
That move completely changed the trajectory of Nicki's career. Nicki, in fact, credits the work she did on her first tape with Young Money, 2009's Beam Me Up Scotty, with making her refocus on her music career, which she said made the industry take her seriously as an artist. In order to promote Young Money's newest signees, Wayne featured his artists on the 2009 compilation album We Are Young Money, where Nicki Minaj made appearances alongside new label recruits like Drake and Tyga. That included a show-stopping appearance on the 7 times platinum single Bedrock. From there, Nicki's career took off like a rocket. She appeared on Kanye West's 2010 song Monster, where she featured alongside industry stars like Ye, Jay-Z, Rick Ross, and Bon Iver, where her verse was widely reviewed as the best of any of her peers. Complex rated her Monster verse the best rap verse in the last 5 years. Nicki's debut album, Pink Friday, debuted at #1 and became the first female rap album to go platinum in 7 years. From there, Nicki kept doubling down on win after win. Her next album, Pink Friday, Roman Reloaded, pivoted further into pop music, which earned her criticism from diehard rap fans who accused Nicki of abandoning her hip-hop roots. But Nicki still landed atop the Billboard charts. Her next 2 projects, Pink Print and Queen, were huge commercial successes, even though they didn't manage to peak higher than #2 on the charts. By the time Nicki spun the block on 2023's Pink Friday 2, she became the first female rapper in history to have 3 #1 albums to her name. Countless rappers and journalists have sung Nicki's praises. The New York Times called her the most influential female rapper of all time, and she was ranked at #10 on Billboard's 50th Greatest Rappers list. Under Wayne's mentorship and guidance, Nicki Minaj managed to turn a mixtape circuit hustle into rap superstardom. But Nicki also made incredibly savvy business moves that only further cemented her into the culture.
One thing I learned along the way in business is the necessity for you to be unapologetic about asking for how much money you deserve.
While Nicki's music shot up in the charts, she also made lateral moves into different vectors of the entertainment industry. In 2013, Nicki pulled in a reported $12 million by joining the judges panel on American Idol. She also parlayed her popularity into an acting acting career, appearing in films like Barbershop, The Next Cut, a romantic comedy called The Other Woman, and voice acting gigs for the Ice Age and Angry Bird franchises. Over the course of her career, Nicki also launched 10 different fragrance lines with various corporate partners like the Home Shopping Network and JCPenney. On top of that, Nicki's had a long history of partnerships with brands like MAC, Adidas, Beats Electronics, Kmart, Mercedes, you name it. Plus, she's also collaborated with fashion powerhouses like Fendi and Marc Jacobs. Not to mention, she also launched her very own press-on nails line, Pink Friday Nails. So basically what I'm saying is that Nicki has been incredibly smart about diversifying her income streams way beyond music. But one of the most important and visible Nicki Minaj business moves came in 2015 when she was announced as a co-star for the music streaming service Tidal, owned by Jay-Z. During a high-profile press run, Nicki came out on stage with Jay and other celebrity Tidal co-owners like J. Cole, Beyonce, Rihanna, Alicia Keys, Chris Martin, Usher, and Madonna, almost as if they were the Avengers of the music industry. Nicki Minaj showing up besides Jay-Z was a big show of force, especially since her Young Money label made Drake inked an exclusive partnership with Tidal's direct competitor, Apple Music. But in 2021, Jay sold Tidal to the company Square. Ultimately, Tidal just wasn't as successful as a superstar group of co-owners hoped it would be. Still, high-profile hustles like these only made Nicki a bigger force to be reckoned with, which makes it even weirder that Nicki struggled to be successful launching her own record label.
People think they could do it. Everybody wants to walk in your shoes until you put them in your shoes, and then it's like, you know what I mean?
On March 3rd of 2024, Nicki made a huge announcement. She was launching her very own record label, Heavy On It Records. Nicki said she never wanted to do a label before because I said to myself, unless I'm ready to really put these artists on, I'm not going to ruin anyone else's life. Nicki quickly announced her new artist roster. It included Nana Fofi, an Afro soul artist from Ghana, Tate Kobang, a rapper from Baltimore, Rico Donna, a rapper from Queens, and London Hill, a Bronx rapper known for having a Caribbean influence. By all appearances, Nicki was curating a team of promising up-and-coming artists and promising to lend her star power to help boost their careers. But any hype that came from Nicki's big label announcement quickly got overshadowed by drama. On April 29th, just 2 months later, news broke that London Hill had parted ways with Nicki's label. Nicki responded that London was never signed and they only ever had talks about London joining Heavy On It. Then on August 21st, Nicki criticized unnamed artists for not wanting to sign to her label and opting to join white-owned record companies instead.
And guess who the white people's finna call? Always. Oh, Nika, Tanya, Mirage, Betty. Oh, they always make sure they get the attention of the barbs.
Nicki even doubled down, claiming that the deluxe edition of her latest album, Pink Friday 2, would only exclusively feature artists from Heavy On It. But Nicki later scrapped the Pink Friday 2 Gag City Deluxe Edition, claiming that she'd release an entirely different album instead, Pink Friday 3. Unfortunately, though, this left her promise of promoting her new record label in limbo. Unlike Lil Wayne, who featured Nicki across mixtapes in the Young Money compilation album, Nicki seemed to be waffling on how front and center she wants to be with her label roster. Despite Nicki's star power, Heavy On It Records made much more news for its internal drama rather than actual music. But what about the artists who Nicki criticized for not signing to her?
You can't expect the Nicki Minaj package when you ain't did the Nicki Minaj work.
In 2023, Ice Spice, a rising star from the Bronx, grabbed headlines for collaborating with the queen of rap herself. Their link-up, the Princess Diana remix, became the first ever official release on Nicki's label Heavy On It, building hype that Ice Spice might officially join the team. The anticipation only grew when Ice Spice and Nicki Minaj linked up again later for that summer for Barbie World, which debuted on the Barbie movie soundtrack. But on May 3rd of 2024, leaked text surfaced between Bronx rapper Ice Spice and her one-time best friend Baby Storm. In those alleged texts, Ice Spice clearly criticizes Nicki Minaj in her attempts to sign her. In one exchange, Ice Spice even said she wants publishing royalties from all of my songs and claims I'm already signed, so why would I work backward? In those texts, Ice Spice also criticized Nicki, claiming that the queen of rap was like her mom, ungrateful and delusional. Ice Spice even said that the Barbie World song was an opportunity that was originally only intended for her, but she invited Nicki to participate out of respect for Nicki's Barbie brand. This is really notable because Ice Spice not only exposed that she didn't have a good personal relationship with Nicki, but that she didn't see a personal upside to Nicki's business move. shows. Based on those texts, it seemed like Nicki wanted to sign Ice Spice to a 360 deal, which takes anywhere from 10 to 25% of an artist's income, even for income streams that have nothing to do with releasing music, like touring, merch, or brand endorsements. While artists with 360 deals sometimes benefit by having hands-on support from the label, 360 deals are also considered notorious for trapping artists in long-term commitments that restrict their creative control. What's even crazier is that Nicki spoke openly about avoiding 360 deals when she herself was up and coming in the rap game.
You know, that was the one thing my lawyer put me onto that a long time ago, and thank you, Jesus, that I never had to sign a 360.
Another artist who was rumored to be linking up with Heavy on It was JT, aka one half of the Miami rap duo City Girls. This was after JT had a very public falling out with her group mate Young Miami, and the two of them mutually agreed to pursue solo careers. After appearing on the Queen mix of Nicki Minaj's single Super Freaky Girls, anticipation grew that JT and Nicki might officially link up under the Heavy on It umbrella. However, 3 months after Nicki invited JT on stage at a Pink Friday 2 tour stop, Nicki seemingly took shots at her during a live stream where she said, "You also have to question why a person would go from unliking you to loving you. Isn't that odd?" Some fans took this as a reference to the years-old leaked audio where the City Girls were heard downplaying Nicki's success. Then on August 21st, the very same day where Nicki criticized artists for not signing to her, fans noticed that she had unfollowed both Ice Spice and JT on social media. This seemed like a clear, unmistakable signal that Nicki was directly shading them for not inking a deal with Heavy on It Records. And unfortunately for Nicki, the news of who she didn't sign grabbed more headlines than who she did. But all that aside though, no one was prepared for Nicki to crash out to the max when Kendrick Lamar was announced as Super Bowl 59's headlining halftime show performer.
If I'm making a business decision in 2024 and I look at the monster year Kendrick just had, just straight business on a corporate level, it's Kendrick.
Just hours after Kendrick, the NFL, and the halftime show's partner Rock Nation announced the news, Nicki took to Twitter to voice her displeasure, writing, "One took a knee, the other took a bag." This is a pretty clear reference to Colin Kaepernick, the former quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers, who alleged that he was blackballed by the NFL because of his political statements against police brutality. Jay-Z, meanwhile, later joined up with the NFL to produce the Super Bowl halftime show, despite all the controversy over the NFL's treatment of Colin Kaepernick. Without mentioning Jay's name directly, Nicki continued tweeting referring to him as spiteful and evil and alleging that he had connections with politicians and police. Nicki even claimed that Jay-Z was denying Wayne, who she called a young black man, despite the fact that he's 41, but digression. A chance to headline at the halftime show because of his ego and apparent hatred for Cash Money Records boss Birdman, Drake, and Nicki herself. This goes back to a back and forth Jay-Z had with Birdman years ago about which one of them had more money. In a lot of ways, Nicki seemed to be hinting that Jay-Z orchestrated a conspiracy to keep Wayne from headlining the 2025 halftime show in his hometown of New Orleans. And to be fair, there was a ton of reactions out there after Wayne wasn't picked to headline, but Nicki's Twitter tirade definitely became the most viral because it was pretty out of pocket. Not only did she accuse Jay-Z of masterminding a revenge scheme against Young Money artists, but she also used some pretty wild language to insinuate that Jay-Z was actually in the pocket of white America. One commenter wrote, "I never would have thought that Kendrick's Like That verse would lead to Nicki calling Jay-Z a house within a calendar year." Nicki later tweeted that she wasn't attacking Kendrick Lamar directly, saying you could love and respect Kendrick and still love and respect Wayne. Even Kendrick loves and respects Wayne. This whole blow up is pretty significant because even at the height of the Drake-Kendrick beef this past summer, Nicki stayed completely silent, even though she's known for having a close relationship with Drake. At the same time, Nicki is clearly willing to jump out the window to protect Wayne's legacy. But is this Nicki being grateful to the man who signed her and started her career? Or is there more at play here? Like the time Nicki criticized artists for not signing to Heavy on It and choosing white record labels instead, Nicki's attack on the Super Bowl halftime show and Jay-Z's NFL affiliation seems to be about bolstering herself more than anything. After all, Nicki would have benefited from artists like Ice Spice and JT signing 360 deals with Heavy on It, just like she would have presumably a chance to perform at the halftime show headlined by her Young Money mentor and boss, Lil Wayne. Some fans also pointed out that Nicki has called out Rock Nation, Jay-Z, and Beyonce before, more specifically for their support of their rival Megan Thee Stallion. Nicki also claimed that she never received a payout for her promotion of Jay-Z's streaming service Tidal, claiming no one promoted it more than me outside of Beyonce. If you really look at the big picture, Nicki seems to have beef with Jay-Z for reasons that go way beyond Lil Wayne not performing at the Super Bowl. Whatever the reason, it really looks like Nicki Minaj is ready to go to war with Jay-Z, Roc Nation, and anyone affiliated with them. In the midst of her epic Twitter rant, Nicki heard a tweet from Cash Money founder Birdman where he tagged Nicki, Wayne, and Drake and promised to make their enemies respect them. It really seems like Nicki might be stuck in the middle of a new civil war in the rap game, with Jay-Z, Kendrick Lamar, Drake, and Lil Wayne squaring up on either side. It's hard to say what'll happen from all this, but definitely get ready because something crazy is gonna happen soon.
We're doing it deserve Kendrick, dog.
I woke up, Kendrick dropped.
Kendrick dropped today.
Ain't no way this nigga dropped the album.
Kendrick Lamar just dropped this whole album.
Let's see what you got for me, K-Dot.
All right, y'all. It looks like Kendrick Lamar is back with a new track, and let me tell you, everyone is talking about it. So, K-Dot just set the music world on fire again. No promo, no warning, just boom. A surprise album drop. The name, GNX. And trust me, it's already shaking up the industry. Now fans are going crazy, and I can't really blame them. One person even wrote, Kendrick just opened his mouth. Someone go hand him a Grammy right now. Okay, but what about the top celebs and rappers? Well, they have plenty to say, especially after fans pointed out that Kendrick might have included a few diss here and there. But before we dive in, let's talk about the album first, because K-Dot did not hold back at all. This album closes out a wild year for Kendrick, one packed with victories and headlines. Remember the feud with Drake, the diss tracks that had the world buzzing? Yeah, GNX isn't letting that fade into history. In fact, the album drops bars that subtly, or not so subtly, reference the beef. Not Like Us wasn't just a diss track. It became the diss track, a Billboard Hot 100 chart topper with 5 Grammy nominations. That's not just beef. It's a buffet of wins for Kendrick. And who can forget Kendrick's Juneteenth concert, a victory lap in his hometown, packed with stars and 5 back-to-back performances of Not Like Us. He even addressed some hot topics, including Lil Wayne and his friend's frustration over Lamar being chosen by Jay-Z and the NFL to headline the upcoming Super Bowl halftime show. Of course, we can't forget how he called out Snoop Dogg for sharing Drake's diss track, Tailor-Made Freestyle. Despite being puzzled by Drake using an AI-generated version of Snoop's voice, it was just a lot, y'all. Because of this, hip-hop Twitter is on fire, and people have been dissecting Kendrick's latest tracks and the shots he's fired at his rivals. Celebs and rappers also have shared their 2 cents about the album. Take Lil Nar, who was clearly not happy about Kendrick's Lil Wayne diss. He tweeted, "No Lil Wayne disrespect allowed." On social media, TDE artist Ray Vaughn also made waves, boldly declaring, "Kendrick is the best rapper alive, period." This sparked heated backlash, especially from Lil Wayne fans who defended Weezy's legendary 2000s run when he made similar claims. The drama escalated when Ray Vaughn clapped back at one particularly critical user with a provocative and controversial retort and commented, "Go eat your mama's and get TF off my post, sir," further fueling the fiery debate. And then there's Snoop Dogg, who also tweeted about K-Dot's latest release. Yup, Snoop Dogg. But contrary to what people were thinking, Snoop actually seemed amused by Kendrick's track. Snoop tweeted, "New album GNX. It was the edibles. West King. And how about Kendrick's #1 nemesis Drake? Well, it looked like Drizzy was just chilling while the internet was dragging his name yet again. The rapper posted a mirror selfie on Instagram, which fans believe was his way of trolling those who thought he'd be upset by K-Dot's successful release. But despite Drake's efforts to appear unbothered, fans were quick to mock him for losing to Kendrick once again. So, what do you think about Kendrick Lamar's GNX?
Lil Wayne appeared to address Kendrick Lamar's reference to him on Lamar's latest album, GNX, with a call for peace but a stern warning, "I shall destroy if disturbed." Sharing his thoughts on X, Wayne didn't directly name Lamar but wrote, "Man, what I do? I just be chillin' and they still come for my head. Let's not take kindness for weakness. Let this giant sleep. I beg you all. No one really wants destruction. Not even me, but I shall destroy if disturbed. On me. Love." Lamar's mention of Wayne came in the track Whacked Out Murals, where he rapped, "I used to bump the Carter 3. I held my Raleigh chain proud. Irony, I think my hard work let Lil Wayne down. Got the Super Bowl and Nas the only one congratulate me. All the agitated, I'm just glad it's on they faces. The verse seems to reflect tension stemming from the NFL's decision to select Lamar as the headliner for the upcoming Super Bowl halftime show instead of Wayne. When Lil Wayne found out he wasn't going to be performing, he released a video expressing his disappointment, openly sharing his frustration about being overlooked for the coveted opportunity.
That hurt. Hurt a lot. You know what I'm talking about? It hurt a whole lot. I blame myself for not being mentally prepared for a letdown. And for just automatically mentally putting myself in that position like somebody told me that was my position. So I blame myself for that. But I thought that was nothing, I thought that was nothing better than that spot and that stage and that platform in my city. And so it hurt. It hurt a whole lot. But y'all are amazing. It made me feel like not getting this opportunity. And when I felt like you guys reminded me that I ain't without y'all. And that's an amazing reality. So, like I said, it broke me, and I'm just trying to put me back together, but my God, have you all helped me. Thanks to all my peers, my friends, my family, even my homies on sports television, everybody repping me. I really appreciate that. I really do. I feel like I let all of y'all down by not getting that opportunity. But I'm working on me.
Don't ever forget it. Don't ever let these guys try and tell you different.
You knew Drake was going to respond to Kendrick's new album, right? From out of nowhere, Drake appeared on stream alongside his fellow Canadian XQC for a night of gambling and talking down on his enemies. This came just one day after XQC clearly picked a side in the beef by declaring that Kendrick's new album was trash.
Hold on.
Varsity out, baby mom.
It's garbage.
What? Meanwhile...
Over the course of the stream, Drake let off several shots in the direction of his many enemies. In terms of Kendrick, he alluded to fake allegations and their inability to bring him down. In all likelihood, suggesting that the claims he was into underage girls have nothing to them.
I'm here, as you can see, fully intact. Mind, body, and soul, in case you were wondering. But you need facts to take me out. Fairy tales won't do it.
In another attempt to undermine his enemy, he announced that his upcoming tour would get underway the same day that Kendrick will perform at the Super Bowl halftime show.
February 9th, for anybody that's watching from Australia, I'm coming back to Australia the first time in 8 years. February 9th. February 9th.
Wait a minute.
Embarrassing! And if you think that's a coincidence, then you're a very trusting individual. Since the clips went online, leaked text messages saw Kendrick declaring to one of his inner circle that Drake was tripping, but he wasn't the only one who caught some smoke. After a track by The Weeknd came on during the stream, Drake promptly asked for it to be changed.
You have to switch this song up. You have to switch this one. We're real Sixers.
In another indirect reference to his fellow enemy from the Six, Drake also began bragging that he was the king of the city.
Love, biggest Sixer. Don't ever forget it. Don't ever let these guys try and tell you different.
Another individual whose name came up on the stream was none other than Metro Boomin. At one stage, the track Trance, which Drake once contributed to before Metro left him off the finished version, played with Drake coyly expressing his enjoyment of the song.
Oh yeah, I like this song.
Give me okay.
This follows the man behind BBL Drizzy, revealing that his feud with Drake was all overblown. Although his issues with those three are well known, what people probably weren't expecting was for Steve Lacy to catch some strays. Check this out.
Guys like a fragile op, but it's a good song, though.
It's safe to say that Steve was just as confused as everyone else, responding to the news with several sarcastic posts. It's unclear exactly how Steve got that kind is shade. Aside from performing at the Pop-Out show, Steve is also from Compton and has collaborated with Kendrick in the past on tracks like Pride from the Pulitzer Prize-winning Damn. With Kendrick now back outside and Drake still sending subliminals, who knows what happens from here. But by the sounds of it, the feud between them and their camps isn't going to be over any time in the near future.
Lamar's unexpected release of GNX, all eyes have turned to Drake, anticipating his next move. On Sunday night, Drake rapper made waves during X-Key's live stream, where he shared several exciting updates. These included news about his joint album with Party Next Door, plans for an upcoming tour in Australia, and what seemed to be a subtle reference to his well-known feud with the Compton rapper.
I guess I should give a little intro, I'm Drake, this is XQC, real streaming legend. Me, I do music, in case you didn't know. I'm here, as you can see, fully intact. Mind, body, and soul, in case you were wondering. Right?
Mind, body, and soul.
Mind, body, and soul. You need facts to take me out. Fairy tales won't do it. Cheers to everybody.
Words live by.
Words to live by. Real talk. Cheers to everybody. Love. W's for everybody. Maxes tonight. Anitas.
Kendrick Lamar was reportedly made aware of Drake's subtle dig, and, according to a text exchange with a friend, he simply laughed it off. Meanwhile, during the live stream, Drake requested The Weeknd's music be turned off, hinting at ongoing tension between the two artists who no longer see eye to eye.
It's this song, though.
It's on a play, you know, so everybody.
Have to switch this one. We're real sixers. We're real sixers. They're real six side. We don't listen to that.
Yeah.
And what else? Update Party Next Door album. Me and Party's album, like 70-75% done. Shout out to PX, cooking right now. Album sounds incredible. Shout out to the Six, the whole city. Anybody watching from Canada, we love you. What else?
How much, how many songs on an album usually? I think they have to use more like mind, body, and soul.
Mind, body, and soul. You need facts to take me out. Fairy tales won't do it. Cheers to everybody.
Words live by.
Words to live by. Real talk.
The pot after he allegedly decided to hit the booth and record a response to Kendrick Lamar's most recent diss track. Here's what happened. Okay, so we all know that K-Dot just dropped a bombshell in the guise of a surprise album. I mean, did you guys expect GNX? Because I did not. Anyway, here we have it, and people are talking about it nonstop, especially since fans are pointing out that Kendrick allegedly dissed his rivals one more time. And no, I am not just talking about Drizzy, I'm talking about Lil Wayne. Yup, the internet is accusing K-Dot of taking shots at Lil Wayne. I mean, we all love the beef and the drama, right? Now, there have been a lot of rumors going around on the internet, most suggesting that Lil Wayne was not having Kendrick's shots. So much so that he's breaking out the booth to record a diss of his own. At least, that's what people are saying. For those who have been out of the loop, K-Dot's opening track, Waxed Out Murals, name-dropped none other than Lil Wayne. He was not subtle at all. But where did this all start? Basically, Kendrick's been riding high after being announced as the headliner for the 2025 Super Bowl halftime show in New Orleans. Big deal, right? But here's the kicker. It's Lil Wayne's hometown. And while we all know Weezy's a legend in the rap game, he wasn't chosen for the gig. Understandably, he's feeling a little left out. So, on his track, Kendrick raps about his admiration for Wayne, mentioning how much Thaw Carter 3 meant to him growing up. But then, he flips it. He talks about how his success, including that coveted Super Bowl spot, might have let Wayne down. It's deep, layered, y'all, and very much a classic Kendrick. While the alleged diss is huge right now, more people are still wondering, how does Wayne respond? Not with bars, not yet anyway. Instead, he hops on social media and posts, "Man, WTF I do? I just be chillin'." and they still come for my head. Let's not take kindness for weakness. Let this giant sleep, I beg you all. No one really wants destruction, not even me, but I shall destroy if disturbed. On me, love. But wait, there's more, because it seems like the tables are about to turn after Joe Budden shared some shocking details about how Lil Wayne allegedly reacted.
I'm hearing that somebody picked up the phone, tried to call and see what the energy was. I'm hearing that Kendrick didn't answer.
Because of this, Lil Wayne allegedly hit the booth and decided to record a diss of his own as a clapback. Here's where things get a little emotional. Fans are saying that Wayne's not just responding to some random line. Nope, this means a lot more than what meets the eye. This cuts deeper. A few months ago, after Kendrick was announced for the halftime show, Wayne shared a heartfelt video saying how much it hurt to be overlooked for the performance. He admitted he wasn't mentally prepared for that level of disappointment. It was raw, emotional, and now it's bubbling back up. While nothing is confirmed yet, fans are getting excited about what Joe said, and let's just say they're waiting eagerly for the coming days to see if this is indeed true. But what about you? Share your thoughts about this controversy and stay tuned for more. Drake's back at it, throwing shade at his former friend The Weeknd, and fans are saying, this just proves Drake is still not over Abel refusing to sign with OVO. Now, if you're confused about how Abel and Drake went from being BFFs to having beef, here's the scoop. It all started in October 2010 when Drake helped put The Weeknd on the map by showcasing him on his October's very own blog and posting a line from Abel's song, Wicked Games. Drake later hopped on The Weeknd's track, The Zone. And soon after, the two started working together on Drake's album, Take Care. By 2012, The Weeknd was blowing up big time, and Drake was trying to lock him down for OVO sound, with rumors flying that he wanted Abel to be his main ghostwriter. But in a surprise move, The Weeknd signed with Republic Records instead, scoring his own XO label deal in the process. Now Drake was salty about his, and he didn't try to hide it either. He took to X, formerly Twitter, to shade Abel, saying, "You won't get away with just a thank you. You owe me a favor." Now fast forward to October 2015, and The Weeknd decided to spill the beans on his involvement in Drake's album, Take Care. With rumors swirling that Drake was using ghostwriters, Abel cleared the air in a Rolling Stone interview, saying he gave Drake a bunch of tracks he had originally made for his own album. "I gave up almost half of my album. It's hard," Abel said. "I will always be thankful. If it wasn't for the light he shined on me, who knows where I'd be? And everything happens for a reason. You never know what I would say if this success wasn't in front of me now." And while it seemed for a moment like Drake and Abel had patched things up, it turned out Drake was just biding his time. Apparently, he was just waiting for the right moment to make his move. And that moment came when he went after Abel's ex, Bella Hadid. Drake even threw Bella a huge 21st birthday party at NYC's Socialista Lounge back in 2017. Since then, Drake and The Weeknd have been throwing little jabs at each other here and there. The latest one happened this year when Abel hopped on Metro Boomin and Future's We Don't Trust You project. On the track, All to Myself, Abel's lyrics had fans talking because it sounded like he was taking shots at Drake, especially when he sang about how glad he is he never signed with OVO. And then Drake decided to be petty again and leaked an old clip from OVO Fest 2013, where he's shown ignoring Abel backstage.
Good to see you. You too, man. Yes, sir. How are you? What's up, boy? You have fun? Of course, bro. I almost cried before that. Oh, okay. What's up, man? Yes. So glad you came, man.
And while The Weeknd didn't dignify Drake with a response and has pretty much stayed out of the ongoing industry-wide takedown of Drake, it looks like Drake is still holding a grudge because he just threw shade at Abel again during his appearance on XQC livestream. When The Weeknd's 2016 hit Starboy came on, Drake immediately called for it to be switched off, saying the real Sixers don't listen to that, implying that Abel doesn't deserve to rep Toronto.
You have to switch this on.
It's on the play, you know, so I'm like...
You have to switch this one. We're real Sixers. The real six side. We don't listen to that.
You really did before?
Nah.
But Drake's moves aren't really landing how he expected, and fans are clowning him for still being salty that The Weeknd blew up without signing to OVO. One fan said, "Being the Weeknd stan that I am, Drake really salty that Abel left OVO because he wanted to stash him like he did Party." Cornier and someone else added, "Quick, Ask him to check the Take Care album credits.
On Friday, November 22nd, K-Dot dropped his 6th studio album, GNX on X, shaking the hip-hop world to the core. But the real question was, would Kendrick leave his past behind, or would he come for his enemies? This album answers that loud and clear. Featuring 12 new songs, GNX gets its name from the Buick Grand National Experimental car, which was released in 1987, the year Lamar was born. Since its release, the album has been receiving rave reviews, but one man didn't really like it, and he made sure that everyone, including K-Dot, know immediately. That man is none other than Lil Wayne, and his visceral reaction is the reason why GNX will be the talking point of the industry for the foreseeable future. See, GNX opens up with Waxed Out Murals, a song that addresses a K-Dot mural in Compton being defaced in the wake of his Super Bowl halftime show announcement, having spent the entire year going after his arch enemy, Drake, and sparing no one in the process. Probably no one was expecting K-Dot's latest album to have a happy-go-lucky attitude, but the brutality in which he opens up the album is cold, even for K-Dot. Right from the get-go, Waxed Out Murals establishes one thing. F everyone as Lamar is heard rapping. The song, featuring the Spanish vocals of mariachi singer Deira Barrera, then goes on to address the rumors that Drake tried to put money out in the streets for dirt on Kendrick Lamar. After firing off with both barrels at Drake, K-Dot then puts the bullseye on bigger game and targets Drake's boss, Lil Wayne. The second verse of Waxed Out Murals says, as you've probably heard by now, NOLA native Wayne has not been very supportive of NFL's decision to have Kendrick Lamar perform at the upcoming Super Bowl halftime show. Even though he never really dropped Lamar's name in addressing the situation, Wayne talked how much it hurt, and how he felt ripped off of an opportunity he worked his whole life for.
That hurt. Hurt a lot. We know what I'm talking about. It hurt a whole lot. I blame myself for not being mentally prepared for a letdown. And for just automatically mentally putting myself in that position, like somebody told me that was my position. So I blame myself for that. But I thought that was nothing, I thought that was nothing better than that spot, and that stage, and that platform in my city. So it hurt. It hurt a whole lot.
Lil Wayne was not the only person left disappointed after Lamar was announced as the headliner for the coveted halftime show. Mind you, prominent names in the industry, like Nicki Minaj, Birdman, Juvenile, Master P, and Cameron, all raised their concern over the selection. Minaj was definitely the most outspoken artist on the matter, and she chose to go after Jay-Z instead of K-Dot. According to Minaj, the choice of Lamar was simply boiled down to Jay-Z's ego. As the billionaire producers company Roc Nation is the NFL's live music entertainment strategist. In a long multi-post rant on X, Minaj openly targeted Hova by saying, denying a young black man what he rightfully put into this game for no other reason but your ego. Your hatred for Birdman, Drake and Nicki got you punishing Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne, the GOAT. While Minaj went hard after the people who booked Lamar and omitted from acknowledging the superstar rapper's overall success, Cameron was more reasonable in his take.
I love Kendrick Lamar. I love the pop-up. I think he's one of the top artists of this generation, period. Hate the selection. It's in New Orleans. You don't get Lil Wayne? That's what we doing?
Amidst all this turmoil, Kendrick Lamar was silent, but guess what? He was silent because he was getting ready to address his haters in Waxed Out Murals. Shortly after name-dropping Lil Wayne, K-Dot is heard spitting, and that was the bar that triggered Lil Wayne. Almost immediately after Lamar's album dropped and people started streaming it like crazy, Lil Wayne took to his socials once again and Loki sent out a warning. Man, what the fuck I do? I just be chillin' and they still come for my head. Let's not take kindness for weakness. Let this giant sleep. I beg you all. No one really wants destruction, not even me, but I shall destroy if disturbed. On me. Love. Don't know about you all, but I shall destroy if disturbed. Definitely sounds like the name of an upcoming diss track to me. Time will tell if K-Dot's beef with Drake will get bigger and encapsulate Lil Wayne. But waxed out murals kinda suggest it will. By the way, Lil Wayne or Drake were not the only people who fell victim to K-Dot's wrath in waxed out murals. Lamar is heard saying, this was obviously referring to Drake's controversial diss Tailor-Made Freestyle, which, to the surprise of many, featured AI-generated vocals from Snoop Dogg and Tupac. Thankfully, the godfather of the West Coast was able to take the dig, as he later praised Lamar's album while addressing this very verse. New album, GNX. It was the edibles. West King. This whole story looks destined to take a darker turn come Super Bowl. And before that, we have the Grammys to go through, where Kendrick Lamar has earned 7 nominations, including 5 for Not Like Us. God help us.
To DeMar DeRozan during the recent Kings vs. Raptors game. And you won't believe what just happened. You see, you may know that Drake and DeMar have developed some beef over the past months. Largely because after DeMar left the Raptors a few years back, his relationship with Drake seemed to go on hold. Before DeMar recently associated himself with his fellow Californian Kendrick Lamar during the recent epic feud between K-Dot and Drizzy, where DeMar would hop on stage to vibe out to Kendrick's infamous song Not Like Us. And this did not sit well with Drake, who was known to be petty and was reluctant to let this one slide. Because in a recent matchup against the Kings in Toronto, in celebration of Vince Carter's jersey retirement, when Drake hopped on the mic to do some commentary, you won't believe what he said about DeMar.
Let's send it courtside too. Courtside reporter Drake.
This might be the last one, boys. I'll tell you that.
Hey, right?
Don't get me fired up tonight. Not gonna lie. Shout out to Vince Carter, man. Hey, I don't think people understand that's our first retired number, right?
And it's
so that's
a legit
incredible.
Banner too. That banner, it's beautiful. It's absolutely spectacular, right?
Yeah. Unfortunately, we're playing this goof tonight, but it is what it is. You know what I mean?
Hey, look, we're gonna take the break. You're gonna stay with us.
I bet you are, huh? Yeah. I've had enough vodka soda grapefruits. It's time to take a break, huh? By the way, put the camera on Jessie Reyes. She looks 20 million out of 10 tonight. Let's get a camera shot of her. Forget these clowns.
Jessie, we have a...
Oh, yeah. Let's get a shot of her. Look at that. Wowzers. Wowzers. An absolute national treasure right there.
Yes, because after subtly referring to DeMar as a goof, he would show some of his simpy ways. However, what he said next was actually insane.
101.92. Jack and I...
Holy smokes.
Speaking of national treasure...
Yes, if you ever put a DeRozan banner up, I'll go up there and pull it down myself. That's the answer to your question. Is that what you're going to ask?
No. I didn't mention that. Well, you know DeRozan and Kyle...
Yeah, well, shout out to Kyle.
The statues are next. Well...
Yeah.
They are. I'm Drake. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, they're cutting me.
Quarter.
I'm getting cut.
You're not.
Let's come back to Jessie one more time before I get out of here, boys.
It's over.
Wow. You could hear the clear resentment in Drizzy's voice, simply not allowing what seemed like a blatant betrayal from DeMar DeRozan to slide. And he wasn't shy in letting DeMar know how he thought about him all game from the sidelines. And when the Raptors came out with the overtime victory in the end, he took things even further.
The effort, the energy. Raptors with the win, 131-128.
However, in the postgame, DeRozan would clap back in a big way. And Drizzy may not have been expecting this one.
Have you thought how 10 might look next to 15 and 7?
Nah, it's crazy because, I try not to think about it. It's just more so cool to see Vince go up than, without a doubt, Cal gonna be up there. I rarely think about mines going up there unless it's mentioned to me, it's beyond honor. I'm always humbled just the thought of that even being an opportunity.
Lamar, in tonight's broadcast, Drake said, if you ever put up the Rosen banner up, I'll go up there and put it down myself. What's your reaction to that?
Well, he gonna have a long way to climb to take it down, so tell him good luck.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Joe. Thanks, Joe. Thank you, Joe.
Not a bad comeback from the Californian, not holding back on the Drizzmeister.
Who's a better rapper, Kendrick Lamar or Drake?
For me, being from Compton, it resonates so in depth because every album, every verse, like I pinpoint that emotion and feeling. The bar for bar, like there's certain things he say with certain streets lingo where I know exactly what that feeling feels like or what that meaning means. So to me, it's if you put me in that situation, it's Kendrick. But it's like also like I remember when Drake was making views, I was in Toronto and I remember hearing it and knowing exactly the vibe and the feeling he was going for that was going on in the city. So that's what makes it so tough for me. That puts me in such a tricky, you know what I mean? Because I was there for both times. I've been there for so many albums of Drake and really understand where it come from and everything. You know what I mean? So for me to be thrown in it.
Anyways, follow Swish for all the latest updates on all things hoops. Until next time.
Speaking of national treasure.
Yes, if you ever put a DeRozan banner up, I'll go up there and pull it down myself. That's the answer to your question. Is that what you're going to ask?
No, I didn't mention that.
Sorry, I didn't.
Kyle.
Lil Wayne, headline Super Bowl in New Orleans. How badly do you want to hear those words?
Just as bad as I want to see my name at the top of that list.
My name Kendrick Lamar, and I'll be performing at Super Bowl 59. Will you be pulling up? I hope so.
All right, y'all. It looks like there's some real tension brewing between two of the biggest names in hip-hop, Lil Wayne and Kendrick Lamar. Weezy just opened up about why he thinks Kendrick will never truly respect him, and the tea is hot. Let's get into it. So, the drama kicked off with Kendrick's track Whacked Out Murals, the opener to his latest album, GNX. In the song, Kendrick name-dropped Lil Wayne with the line, "Used to bump the Carter 3, I held my Raleigh chain proud. Irony, I think my hard work let Lil Wayne down." Now, y'all, that's a lot to unpack. On one hand, it seems like Kendrick is paying homage to Wayne, but on the other, he's low-key saying he outworked him and left him in the dust. And let's be real, no one wants to be called out like that, especially not a legend like Wayne. Word traveled fast, and it wasn't long before Wayne caught wind of Kendrick's bars. Feeling some type of way, Weezy allegedly tried to reach out to Kendrick directly. According to Joe Budden, Wayne picked up the phone and tried to check the temperature with the Compton rapper.
I'm hearing that somebody picked up the phone, tried to call and see what the energy was. I'm hearing that Kendrick didn't answer.
Now, if you know Wayne, you know he doesn't take disrespect lightly. According to Joe Budden, when Kendrick didn't return the call, Wayne took it as a diss and decided to let the music do the talking. Joe spilled the tea on his podcast saying Wayne went into the booth. He gave Kendrick until he got in there to call him back. When that didn't happen, well, Wayne wasn't waiting anymore. What exactly did Wayne cook up in that booth? We'll have to wait and see, but you can bet it's going to be fiery. But that's not all. This feud has layers. Apparently, Wayne was already feeling some type of way after Kendrick was announced as the headliner for the upcoming Super Bowl halftime show. And here's the kicker. The game is happening in New Orleans, Wayne's hometown. Like, ouch. Imagine being one of the most iconic artists from your city and watching someone else take that stage. Wayne admitted that the decision hurt him deeply.
That moment I said to myself, I want to be on stage for the Super Bowl one day I feel like my mom. And I work like to get that musician and to strip away something.
When Wayne finally spoke out publicly, he didn't hold back. In a tweet, he wrote, "Man, WTF I do. I just be chilling and they still come for my head. Let's not take kindness for weakness. Let this giant sleep. I beg you all. No one really wants destruction, not even me, but I shall destroy if disturbed. On me. Love." Now, if that doesn't sound like a warning shot, I don't know what does. So, why does Wayne think Kendrick doesn't respect him? Well, it seems like Kendrick's Super Bowl gig and his decision to name drop Wayne in a less than flattering way are all signs that there's a lack of appreciation. Or at least, that's how Wayne sees it. Kendrick is known for being calculated with his lyrics, and ghosting Wayne could be his way of making a statement. Either way, the ball's in Kendrick's court now, and fans are dying to see how he'll respond, if at all. Oh, and make sure to check out our next video where we spill all the tea on Drake's latest lawsuit. You won't want to miss it.
And if I've learned anything this year, it's that none of us, not a single one of us, not even me, should ever pick a fight with Kendrick Lamar. He will make your hometown not like you. The next time Drake sits courtside at a Raptors game, they're gonna Forrest Gump him. Sight's taken.
Y'all, the whole drama between Kendrick Lamar and Drake just took an unexpected turn, and the deets are really messy as Drake has decided to step off the rap horse and climb the legal horse. And y'all, fans have been lashing out at Drake for this decision and saying this might be the final blow to his career, but it seems Drake doesn't care at all. Now, y'all, this whole saga has had fans wondering who's gonna come out on top in this industry face-off and who's gonna lose it all for good. And boy, y'all better get your seatbelts and popcorn ready because this tea is hot and it's scalding. Now, y'all, at the beginning of this whole beef, fans were having a good time as everyone initially saw the whole drama as a mere rap banter. But it seems Drake's ego got bruised along the way, especially when Kendrick Lamar savagely dissed him in his Super Bowl commercial when he said, "No round twos."
What the deal, everybody? My name Kendrick Lamar, and I'll be performing at Super Bowl 59. Will you be pulling up? I hope so. You know it's only one opportunity to win the championship. No round twos. Let's get it.
And y'all, to make things worse, not only did the same song Kendrick released earlier this year, dissing Drake, make it to the billboards, but it also had a whopping 900 million streams, which was far above the numbers Drake has ever had on any of his songs. Now, y'all, Drake took this L way too personal, and y'all, the most interesting part is that there's a clip making rounds on the internet where fans can be seen singing "Not Like Us" at Drake while he's exiting the stage, and y'all, the look on his face is priceless, and I'm guessing that was what did it for him. In Kendrick's song, "Not Like Us," he made some pretty strong allegations against Drake, stating that he was into minors, but y'all, Drake didn't seem to have a problem with that initially until the song began to blow the roof off. Now, y'all, a lot of fans are of the opinion that Drake's bitterness stems from a lot of things, and one of which is the fact that he lost the opportunity to headline the 2025 Super Bowl halftime, which he's always dreamt of. I mean, y'all, to show just how much Drake has always wanted it, he even mentioned it in his song First Person Shooter, where he talked about being the GOAT in the rap industry. Now, y'all, Drake's beef is not only with Kendrick Lamar, but also with UMG and Spotify, and he's also suing them for conspiring with Kendrick and exaggerating the numbers of his listeners even when they knew the song contained defamatory verses against him. But y'all, if this isn't the peak of jealousy and immaturity, then I don't know what it is. I mean, where was his moral compass when he was also dissing Kendrick and his family in his songs? It's obvious Drake is just saying, if I can't win a rap battle or a Super Bowl headline against you, then Emma try and win a legal battle. But boy, do fans already feel it's all gonna end badly for him. Now, y'all, Kendrick is yet to respond to the whole legal suit, but UMG and Spotify have maintained that the allegations against them is just BS. But what do y'all think about this whole drama? Do y'all think Drake is biting way more than he can chew? Or do y'all think this lawsuit will stop Kendrick from performing the song at the Super Bowl come 2025? Now, y'all, don't forget to like this video and stay tuned for more hot goss like this.
When you're taking, like, And you're losing?
Y'all, it seems like Drake has more diss tracks aimed at Kendrick Lamar, but he decided to keep them off limits for a very shocking reason. Here's what happened. As if the beef between K-Dot and Drizzy isn't dramatic enough, more shocking revelations about the feud are starting to come out. Drizzy is reportedly sitting on a stack of explosive diss tracks aimed at heavyweights like Kendrick, Rick Ross, and Metro Boomin. But here's the catch. He hasn't released them, and fans are wondering why. Well, let me break it down. First, let's talk about the feuds, shall we? In case you've been out of the loop, Drake and Kendrick's rivalry is one for the books. I mean, it's a clash of titans representing different schools of rap. And we all know that Kendrick has been throwing subliminal shots at Drake for years, calling out his credibility, authenticity, and even hinting at ghostwriting allegations. Remember Kendrick's legendary verse on Big Sean's Control? He basically called out nearly everyone in the game, but Drake seemed to take it personally. Their rivalry simmered ever since. Fast forward to 2024. Kendrick's verse on Metro Boomin's Like That takes the beef to another level, and I think we can all say the rest is history. Now, here's the big surprise.
The material comes that fast. Yeah, and then it was loaded again. Drake was loaded, ready to go again.
Yup, you heard that right. Just think about it. Kendrick is a lyrical powerhouse, and Drake may have calculated that engaging could damage his carefully curated image. After all, there's been a lot of chatter that he horribly lost against K-Dot in their most recent beef. Then there's the Rick Ross situation. In a leaked diss track titled Push-Ups, Drake reportedly mocked Ross's age and career achievements, implying that Ross's biggest hits were thanks to his collaborations with Drake. Ross fired back with champagne moments, accusing Drake of using ghostwriters and even throwing shade at his alleged cosmetic procedures. It's messy to say the least. But people are still wondering, why hasn't Drake dropped these tracks? One theory is that he's avoiding unnecessary drama. Let's be honest, rap beefs often spill over into real-life conflicts, with social media amplifying tensions. Now, Drake may be playing the long game, ensuring his brand remains untarnished. Also, let's not forget what happened in 2018 during Drake's feud with Pusha T. After Pusha's scathing the story of Adidon, there were rumors that Drake had a career-ending track ready to go. But Jay Prince, a mentor figure to Drake, reportedly advised him to hold back, warning that it could escalate beyond music. The same debate is raging now, and fans can't help but ask, is he showing restraint? Or is he backing down under pressure? Some fans think Drake is being cautious. After all, Drake is a businessman as much as he is an artist. So, he knows that releasing diss tracks could alienate parts of his audience or even invite unnecessary legal trouble. By keeping these tracks in the vault, he retains the upper hand, or so he thinks, because there's a risk to this approach. In hip-hop, where credibility and bravado are everything, not responding to direct shots can make you look weak. And for someone who allegedly took a big L against his biggest rival, I think Drake should start rethinking his strategy. But what do you guys think? Let us know, and make sure to stay tuned for more.
So now where am I in it? And you could have did it. See, I did it because you never apologized.
Looks like Drake's boat has no one left but himself, with the latest betrayal coming from none other than his long-term bestie, SZA. Like, they've been cool for years, dropping hits together and always hyping each other up. But now, word on the street is that SZA has jumped ship to team up with Kendrick Lamar for a whole joint tour. And some fans think she just pulled the ultimate backstab on Drizzy. Y'all, there's a lot to unpack here, so grab your popcorn and let's get right into it. To give you some context, SZA and Kendrick recently announced their upcoming Grand National Tour. And trust me, this is already shaping up to be the concert of the year. Of course, they are both crazy talented, and Kendrick is about to headline the Super Bowl halftime show. So you already know this tour is going to be lit. But here's where the drama kicks in. Some fans are calling out SZA for allegedly betraying Drake by linking up with Kendrick, who, as we all know, has been Drake's not-so-secret nemesis for years. Now, before we dive into all the mess, let's rewind for a sec, because we can't overlook the fact that SZA and Drake have history. They dated briefly back in the day, and even after that, they've stayed close. Drake has always been in her corner. Remember when he clapped back at DJ Academics for body shaming her? Yeah, he's been that guy for her. They've collabed on tracks, hit the stage together, and seem like ride or die energy. But not only that, fans are losing it because some are accusing SZA of playing double agent. Internet detectives are out here saying she cozied up to Drake just to collect tea and take it back to Kendrick. People People are calling her a mole and dragging her for allegedly betraying Drake for clout and loyalty to her old label, TDE. One fan even claimed SZA executed the longest, most calculated revenge move in music history. The drama writes itself at this point.
No, but wait, the fact that there's a chance that we might hear this live, I know we're gonna hear this and this live. And hell, they might even take us to Wakanda. I think it goes without saying this concert is gonna be something special. What's your favorite Kendrick Lamar and SZA collab? Let me know in the comments.
Here's another angle to it though. While fans are out here fighting over whether SZA's actions are sus or just business, others think this whole thing is just about the bag. SZA's connection to Kendrick isn't new. They've been label mates for years and have worked together on some of TDE's biggest projects. So this tour might just be a smart move for both of them. Kendrick's building his own thing with PG Lang, and SZA is securing her spot as that girl. At the end of the day, money talks, and this collab is about to bring in some serious cash. Anyways, it's clear this story isn't going anywhere anytime soon. Drake hasn't said a word about it yet, but you already know the fans are dissecting everything he posts for clues. And with the internet speculating if SZA's a double agent or just a boss making moves, this tour is already getting all the attention it needs. What do y'all think about this messy situation? Make sure to stick around because my next video is going to spill even more tea.
Kendrick's new album just escalated the war with Drake to another level.
What does he want us to learn before the Super Bowl? It ain't this.
Y'all, it finally happened. After months of speculation, Kendrick Lamar finally dropped his much-anticipated new project, GNX, on November 22nd of 2024. And in classic Kendrick fashion, the surprise release of GNX managed to shock the entire music industry.
This is him being very current. We've never heard Kendrick in a moment like this.
What's crazy is that GNX is basically one big Not Like Us sequel. When Kendrick put out Not Like Us earlier this summer, it was instantaneously crowned as one of the greatest diss tracks of all time, shattering streaming records and debuting atop the Billboard Hot 100. Since Not Like Us dropped, it's become LA's new unofficial anthem. Not only is the song produced by famed LA native Mustard, but some of the city's biggest names rallied on stage to the song during Kendrick's Juneteenth pop-out concert. The pop-out was widely acclaimed for showcasing both LA's most storied rap legends and its rising underground talent. And Kendrick's new album GNX is a direct continuation of that same theme. GNX also has Kendrick doubling down on his history-making collaboration with Mustard. After their Not Like Us team-up picked up 5 Grammy nominations, it only made sense for Kendrick and Mustard to spin the block again. Mustard contributed production to 2 songs on GNX, Hey Now and TV Off. Kendrick's love for Mustard is pretty unmistakable on the album. On TV Off, you literally got Kendrick screaming Mustard on the track, and the moment was instantly iconic enough that it became a TikTok trend. Mustard himself even hinted that Kendrick may have gifted him a brand new, instantly iconic producer tag. I thought the same thing when I heard that. But maybe the most direct connection to Not Like Us comes from the second track on the album. When Kendrick dropped the Not Like Us music video on July 4th, fans instantly went wild for an untitled snippet of new music that intros the actual video. That one snippet went viral on TikTok with fans begging Kendrick to drop the full song. And on GNX, Kendrick followed through by finally releasing Squabble Up as the album's very first single. But if you really want to know how GNX continues the Not Like Us legacy, you gotta break down all the secret Drake disses on the album.
Kendrick just comes in hot and doesn't let up for the whole album, basically.
While Kendrick never mentions Drake by name on GNX, there's plenty of references aimed at his arch nemesis. In fact, the intro track, Whacked Out Murals, is a cold-blooded rebuke to all the counter-narratives that have cropped up since Kendrick thrashed Drake this past summer. The title refers to an incident from September of 2024 when a Kendrick Lamar mural in Compton was vandalized, and footage surfaced of a tagger not only Xing out Kendrick's eyes, but also tagging Drake's label name, OVO. In the song, Kendrick addresses all the people who he claims are trying to undercut his legacy. He even declares, "Ain't no legends if my legends end," essentially declaring that if he isn't the pinnacle of greatest rappers ever, nobody is. On the same song, Kendrick implies that Drake allegedly tried to buy information on him by offering money to Kendrick's inner circle. But Kendrick also asserts that his reputation in LA is so solid that nobody on his team betrayed him, despite all the cash that Drake seemingly threw their way. Kendrick also threw cold water on anyone advocating for him and Drake to piece it up and find reconciliation. Kendrick vowed to fans that he would never let the beef go and that he and Drake are enemies for life. Kendrick went even further by claiming that Drake's alleged bribes could have had real-world consequences. These lines are saying that by allegedly offering money for info, Drake could have inspired someone to carry out violence against Kendrick or his loved ones. And that's part of the reason why Kendrick insists that peace just isn't in the cards. On the song Hey Now, Kendrick alludes to his victory over Drake when he brags about being the Black Noah who just strangled him a goat, clearly referring to himself as Noah from the Bible and claiming that he outright ended Drake's status as a so-called goat. But maybe the most savage and cutting Drake diss came from Kendrick's song The Heart Part 6. The Heart series is one of Kendrick's most well-known trademarks. His first song in the series, The Heart Part 1, was released in 2010, and Kendrick has traditionally released new songs in the series as a prelude to new projects. For years, Kendrick has used the Heart series as a calling card for his die-hard fans, but that was until Drake hijacked the entire thing. This summer, just a day after Kendrick's release Not Like Us, Drake responded with a diss track of his own, The Heart Part 6. But Drake's Heart Part 6 was widely mocked. It racked up over 1.5 million dislikes on YouTube and was widely seen as Drake waving the white flag and tapping out of the battle. Despite all the negative reactions Drake received, fans speculated on how Kendrick might react. And with GNX, we finally got an answer. Instead of acknowledging Drake's heart hijacking, Kendrick straight up ignored him. Kendrick continued the series completely unbothered, using his own Heart Part 6 to reflect on his come up under his old label Top Dog Entertainment and how he's grown as an artist. While Kendrick's Heart Part 6 is a deeply personal song, the fact that he basically acted like Drake's version never existed was the ultimate power move. After thoroughly cooking Drake on Not Like Us, Kendrick has completely dismissed him as a worthy opponent. And while Drake didn't react to the album directly, he did take the opportunity to address his beef with Kendrick. Drake appeared on a live stream with XQC where he made a not-so-veiled reference to his most famous enemy.
We love all the talkers, all the crip walkers, man. We love you guys, man. That's what it is, man, you know?
But Drake wasn't being totally anonymous. He also addressed fans and haters directly, bragging,
I'm here, as you can see, fully intact, mind, body, and soul, in case you were wondering. You need facts to take me out. Fairy tales won't do it.
And that sounds a lot like a rebuttal to the claims Kendrick made about him on Not Like Us. But what nobody was expecting is that Kendrick himself would react to Drake in real time. Kendrick associate Relly posted a screenshot of his text thread with Kendrick. In the text thread, Relly lets Kendrick know that Drake was talking shit, and Kendrick seemed pissed that Drake was mouthing off. Quote, he tripping? It sounds a lot like Kendrick is still keeping a close eye on Drake's moves, and that he might be ready to clap back at a moment's notice. But Drake had something up his sleeve because his legal team dropped a bombshell right in the middle of GNX's release weekend.
It's been a crazy, insane, totally unhinged, past 72 hours.
On November 25th of 2024, Drake filed a pre-action petition targeting Universal Music Group. In the petition, Drake alleges that Kendrick's hit diss Not Like Us was actually boosted by a sophisticated network of bots that he claims were financed by UMG, which happens to be both Drake's label and the distributor of Kendrick's music. More specifically, Drake's lawyers allege that Spotify directed listeners to Not Like Us even if they were searching for unrelated content. They also claim that Siri would automatically reroute users to stream Not Like Us even if they were asked to listen to Drake songs. Ultimately, the petition claims that Not Like Us only broke so many records because of bots inflating the song's blockbuster numbers. While the petition isn't technically a lawsuit, it does mean that Drake's legal team are taking steps to gather evidence and officially sue UMG in court. According to the filing, UMG refused to engage in Drake's accusations and even suggested that Drake sue Kendrick Lamar instead. However, just hours after Drake's pre-action petition was filed, UMG hit back with a blistering statement. They not only denied Drake's allegations, calling them offensive and untrue, but they also hit back by basically calling Drake's claims unhinged. Quote, no amount of contrived and absurd legal arguments in this pre-action submission can mask the fact that fans choose the music that they want to hear. That's a pretty brutal response, especially when you acknowledge that Drake is still an artist signed to UMG. But that was not the end of it, because Drake decided to go back-to-back and hit UMG with another legal action. The very next day, Drake's team filed another claim alleging that UMG funneled payments to iHeartRadio in a pay-to-play scheme meant to get Not Like Us on the radio. Drake's second filing accused UMG and iHeart of defamation, claiming that the companies conspired to turn Not Like Us into a viral mega hit so they could harm Drake and drive consumer hysteria. The action also alleges that UMG approved of the song even though it defamed, quote, one of its most prominent artists by falsely accusing Drake of being a sex offender. Drake's lawyers even implied that they might sue UMG for both civil fraud and racketeering. While Kendrick isn't being directly targeted in either of these actions, these accusations could carry major consequences. By filing these actions in court, Drake has co-signed the theories and challenged UMG to disprove his accusations. Drake is essentially claiming that Kendrick benefited from unfair business practices like payola and botting. If these claims are actually verified, they could potentially undercut Kendrick's legacy and his landmark victory over Drake. But there's even more to the story. Drake's contract with UMG is set to expire, and he's obviously going to ask for a whole lot more money. Drake's petitions claim that UMG engineered this botting strategy so they could renegotiate Drake's contract with them on more favorable terms. Drake is basically saying that UMG backed Kendrick so they could get Drake to agree to accept less money when it came time for him to re-up his label contract, and that UMG's support of Kendrick is an entire conspiracy. Now, if that's actually true, it would have huge implications for the entire music business. But when it comes to the court of public opinion, fans don't seem happy with Drake's attempt to sue his way out of an L. Commentators on social media have labeled Drake a Karen, and Punch, the president of Kendrick's former label Top Dog Entertainment, tweeted, quote, "The rap streets is done, SMH," in response. Right now, most of the rap game seems to agree that Drake looks desperate by filing these two legal actions. But that perception could change if his accusations against UMG are proven true. These potential lawsuits might really drag the Kendrick-Drake war in front of a judge and really change rap beef forever. While Kendrick hasn't yet issued a response to Drake's twin legal actions, some fans believe that new content is imminent. Listeners have locked into lyrics on Squabble Up where Kendrick promises to, quote, double back like a deluxe, and some believe that Kendrick is hinting that he might still have more music on the way. Longtime Kendrick fans have pointed out that by including The Heart Part 6 on the album, Kendrick is signaling that there's more to come. Remember, Kendrick uses his The Heart series as an appetizer before releasing new music. Could GNX just be a prelude for another Kendrick album? It's safe to say that if Kendrick drops another album, he'll have plenty to say about Drake when trying to sue his way to a win. Whichever way this goes, it's safe to say that the battle is far from over, and both Kendrick and Drake are entering uncharted territory.
50 Cent stirred the pot by pulling out a list he claimed reveals all of Drake's ops. Holding up a paper stacked with names, Fifth broke it down. Every name on the list represents someone Drake has crossed paths with or clashed with over the years.
This is the op page.
Right.
He was just winning consistently more than everybody else in the culture. And then these people start to turn into people that feel like they're ops all over the page, babe. Because they keep watching them win. And then you go, I want this thing forever, man.
Right.
I'm not sure you can have it forever.
Right.
Not forever.
But that wasn't all. 50 also shared his thoughts on the long-going Drake versus Kendrick Lamar beef, adding even more fuel to the fire during the interview.
No, I think it's a point where you win repeatedly to the audience, and even the artist community is going, if you win again, how am I going to have my chance to win? So they would rather see Kendrick in that slot. Right. And Drake, you get out of here.
Damn.
That's really the way it goes, baby. Like, you look, think what he's saying, the system's done, they done it. They're guilty of what he said they did. Like, where I'm at Interscope, they are G-Unit and G-Unit at the same time.
Right. Gotcha. Wow.
On the same system, big. The same person delivering the record telling you to play 50 Cent is delivering the record saying play game.
Wow.
And it's just business. They're looking at it like it's business. It's selling the record. But everything that they said that he did, that they did for Kendrick, is something they did for him.
Here, as you can see, fully intact. Mind, body, and soul, in case you were wondering. Right?
Mind, body, and soul.
Mind, body, and soul. You need facts to take me out. Fairy tales won't do it. Cheers to everybody.
Words live by.
Words to live by. Real talk. Cheers to everybody.
Andrew Schultz's sickening comments about Kendrick Lamar is still going strong. with Meek Mill now being the latest to speak out against him. On November 22nd, Kendrick Lamar dropped his new album, GNX, and the opening track, Waxed Out Murals, had a line that seemed to target black men, particularly podcast bros, who allow white comedians to disrespect black women. And while Kendrick didn't even mention Andrew Schultz, Schultz got all triggered and responded on his Flagrant podcast, implying Kendrick's verse was aimed at him. Schultz then made several bizarre comments, mocking Kendrick for associating with known offenders, while preaching about empowerment and gender equality.
That Kendrick Lamar put it on wax that he is protecting black women from white comedians' jokes, but not the kidnapping, Asian, and of R. Kelly. And actually, in reality, he would take his own music off Spotify to protect R. Kelly.
Yeah.
Someone who's kidnapped,
Predator,
and black women, children. Are you saying that he's done songs with other men who have potentially put hands on black women?
Not potentially, confirmed.
Wait a minute, convicted?
Yeah, I don't know what you call Chris Brown, but yeah, whatever that is.
It's not crazy.
But Schultz didn't stop there. He also went on to make a disturbing comment, suggesting he would grape Kendrick.
But just Kendrick, I would make love to him. There's nothing he could do about it. Just Kendrick Lamar, I would make love to him, and the only thing that he could do is decide if it's consensual or not. That's the only thing he could do. If it's me and Kendrick, this isn't about physics. It's about physics. I don't even know if I'll get hard. But if we're in a cell, there's a chance that if we're in a cell and we're bored and we've done tattooing each other, whatever you do in the cell, and we ran out of board games and we did all the other things, we cleaned everything, and I'm like, man, I might as well you.
Naturally, this sparked outrage online, with many people calling him out for crossing the line. But it's not just fans who are dragging Schultz. Other rappers also voiced their opinions, among them Meek Mill, who wrote on X, white men saying they'll grate black men openly is extreme, and then say it's just a joke. Black manhood is not a joke. I've seen the same guy saying I was gay on his stand-up. My white friends like, it's a joke. We don't joke like that in the black community at all. However, Schultz remained unapologetic, and he hopped in replies with a screenshot of Meek's comment responding to Schultz joking about him being gay in a stand-up special. Schultz wrote, "You seem to like it," alongside a screenshot where Meek wrote, "The first time I laughed at being gay, but don't whip me in real life. I may swing LOL." Meanwhile, other industry figures joined Meek in calling out Schultz, including O'Shea Jackson, who quoted a video of Schultz's bizarre rant about Kendrick, writing, "Weird." But once again, Schultz decided to clap back and replied directly to O'Shea, referencing one of O'Shea's father Ice Cube's songs. Google No Vaseline by Ice Cube. But O'Shea didn't let Schultz have the last word, and he quickly responded, saying that Schultz's comparison doesn't work in this case. O'Shea wrote, "A metaphor about getting effed business-wise by your manager isn't the same, homie. He ain't call you a B. He ain't say F you. Didn't even say your name. And your response was buck-breaking. Ish was just crazy." Needless to say, the vast majority of fans are on Meek Mill and O'Shea Jackson's side. And they're saying Andrew Schultz is not just painfully unfunny, but actually racist. One fan said, "Nah, Andrew Schultz just outed himself as a Karen who just called 911 on rap. He doesn't give an F about black gender dynamics and intergenerational trauma. He wants what Vlad and Adam 22 and countless mediocre white men do, freedom with immunity to be up in everyone's business."
With Kendrick Lamar gets intense, and you won't believe why.
I promise you I'm serving you ASAP. Don't ever throw my life again, you big
Earlier this fall, things got intense for Aiden Ross when this happened.
Man, there's no fly zone for him. He just put himself in an equation that he can't get out of. Aiden Ross, no fly zone. Please let me know when you get to LA.
The Kendrick versus Drake war continues to wreak havoc and has now brought streamers to the front lines. Aiden Ross carries weight in the rap game, at least from a clout perspective. Everyone knows that Aiden Ross is strongly associated with the controversial rapper Drake, always supporting him in many instances over the last few years. What having that relationship cost him, however, is tension with Drake's rival, Kendrick Lamar. It all started when Aiden Ross's name came up on the Figmunity World podcast during a conversation about Kendrick Lamar. When the hosts discovered Aiden reps Drake all day, they declared a no-fly zone for him in Los Angeles. The hosts, who are closely affiliated with Kendrick, didn't take the association situation lightly.
We gotta make a no-fly zone here. We gotta make a no-fly zone for them. Drake can't come out here. I'll be at all the motherfucking private airports waiting.
During the podcast, they spoke about Aiden Ross and fellow streamer Cheezer partying at a Vegas club when Kendrick Lamar's They Not Like Us started playing. Cheezer immediately began dancing, but Aiden wasn't having it and stood back in support of Drake, adding even more tension to the situation.
I'm loyal to Drake, bro. I'm not dancing to bro. This cringe.
Once the clip started going viral across the internet, Aiden comes out with a response video with Sneeko, calling out Kendrick's goons and saying he isn't scared.
Banned from LA. I'm not banned from LA, bro. I wish somebody would. I swear to God, I'm gonna go to LA. Nobody's gonna do to me. I promise you, bro. That old mother that podcast, bro. I'll smack the out of you. Well, not me, but I'm gonna have security smack the out of you.
The heat dials up when Kendrick's goons went into detail about Aiden's LA ban and responding to his security defense. Things even got serious as they warned that security gets shot at every day.
And I swear to God, I'm gonna slap him, and even if his security is from LA, they gonna get slapped too.
Aiden Ross, let me give you a tip. Security get popped every day, B.
After hearing this, Aiden Ross hit back with lawyer talk, warning them and potentially suing.
I got the best lawyers of all time, baby. Let's do it. And I'm gonna low-key sue you for that. You want to? I can't wait. Yo, let me get that clip again. Put that on my phone right now. Send that right to my lawyer. I promise you I'm serving you ASAP. Don't ever threaten my life again, you big
To date, Aiden Ross has yet to set foot in Los Angeles, but he did release a sort of apology video where he apologizes to the people of LA.
I'm not folding. I still say you to the people that were coming at me. You. But I'm not saying you to all of LA, and I love LA, seriously.
Later, it was revealed that Aiden and one of Kendrick's associates, AD, had squashed the beef. It turns out Aiden's manager is friends with AD, and they talked things out. Eventually, Aiden FaceTimed AD to settle the issue, even expressing interest in doing something positive for LA and the kids.
We had a conversation like grown men, and it's good. I ain't tripping. I want to do something dope for the city. You know what I'm saying? With the kids. We can turn up.
What do you think? Will Aiden Ross ever try going to LA? And what kind of welcome would he receive? Whatever happens, it's only a matter of time before the Kendrick and Drake beef does something that no one can take back.
It says it's going to be in Canada, right? Now, this is the thing.
Y'all, things are heating up in the 6. Drake, the self-proclaimed king of Toronto, might not be feeling the love from his own city anymore. Why? Because Kendrick Lamar just announced not one, but 2 back-to-back shows in Toronto as part of his grand national tour. And if you're thinking that sounds a little too intentional, well, you're not alone. Let's get into why this move has fans saying Drake's hometown might just be turning its back on him. Here's the tea. Kendrick Lamar and SZA just announced extra dates for their grand national tour. And guess where they're making a major stop? Toronto. Kendrick is hitting the Rogers Center for back-to-back shows on June 12th and 13th, 2025. Let me remind y'all, this is Drake's hometown. Like, the same Drake who's made Toronto a part of his identity, his music, and his brand. It's giving, how dare y'all let this happen? And if we're keeping it real, this feels like a direct diss. K-Dot could have chosen anywhere to add extra dates, but 2 shows in Toronto? Oh, he knew exactly what he was doing. The fact that the city even allowed this to happen has fans questioning. Is the 6 turning its back on Drake? Let's not pretend Kendrick and Drake are besties. These 2 have had a not-so-subtle rivalry brewing for years. From Kendrick's infamous verse on Control to the subliminals in their lyrics, they've been throwing shots for a minute now. And while Drake's been doing his thing internationally, Kendrick announcing 2 sold-out shows in Drake's backyard. That's king behavior. It gets worse. Kendrick performing at the 2025 Super Bowl halftime show just days before his Toronto takeover? Yeah, it's a flex. Meanwhile, Drake's stuck headlining a tour in Australia and New Zealand. Fans are already calling this a power play, with one saying, Kendrick's about to show Toronto what a real king looks like. Ouch.
Just learning this morning, Kendrick Lamar will be headlining the 2025 Super Bowl halftime show. While this will be the rapper's first time headlining on the NFL's biggest stage, he did perform as a special guest at the 2022.
Now, this is where it gets messy. Drake's hometown has always been his sanctuary. He's put Toronto on the map, repping it in his songs, music videos, and even his brand. But with the city rolling out the red carpet for K-Dot, it's feeling less like support and more like shade. Some fans are speculating that this could be Toronto's way of signaling they're ready to move on from Drake's reign. Like, let's not forget the backlash Drake's faced lately. Everything from fans calling out his music for being repetitive to allegations of beef with other artists. And now Kendrick, of all people, stepping in. It's like Toronto saying, we're ready for something new. To make this even juicier, let's talk about what went down with Rick Ross earlier this year. Rose had his own drama in Canada after performing in Vancouver, where he and his crew were reportedly attacked by a mob. The reason? His beef with Drake. Fans at the time didn't hold back in showing their loyalty to the Six's biggest star. But here's the thing. If Toronto was willing to ride that hard for Drake just months ago, why are they now welcoming Kendrick with open arms? It's the switch up for me. Some fans are calling it betrayal, while others are saying Drake's influence is just not hitting the same anymore. Drake isn't just feeling the heat from Kendrick's Toronto takeover. Now he's being called a sore loser by some fans. Why? Because he reportedly filed a lawsuit against Universal Music Group, claiming they inflated the streams for Kendrick's diss track aimed at him. Yeah, you heard that right. Drake is accusing UMG of artificially boosting Kendrick's numbers to make him look bad.
We was on vacation all last week, so I didn't get the opportunity to properly give Drake the credit he deserves for being stupid. But if you haven't heard, last week, Frozen Moments LLC, a company managed by Drake, filed a petition in the New York.
But here's the kicker. This move has backfired big time. Instead of gaining sympathy, fans are calling out Drake for being petty. Many are saying he's losing his composure over something he should have just ignored. The backlash is real, with some fans pointing out how this kind of behavior isn't a good look for someone who's supposed to be the champagne poppy of the rap game. So, what do you think? Is Kendrick's Toronto takeover just business as usual, or is this a calculated move to dethrone Drake in his own city? Don't forget to hit that like button and check out the next video on the end screen for more juicy hip-hop revelations.
There's a real beef happening between Andrew Schultz and Kendrick Lamar, and the guy coming out on top will really surprise you. And we're here to break down all the juicy drama just for you.
Are you saying that Kendrick Lamar put it on wax that he is protecting black women from white comedians' jokes, but not the kidnapping, molestation, and of R. Kelly? And actually, in reality, he would take his own music off Spotify to protect R. Kelly? Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is gonna get good. So for some context, this all started a few weeks ago when Flagrant had the co-host from the Shits and Gigs podcast on for an episode, and they eventually got into a conversation about dating women of different races. And if you know anything about Flagrant, it's a comedy podcast, so they're gonna make jokes.
What is the black girlfriend effect? This
you don't know about it. Blow out the other culture.
Yeah, so you'll see a guy who's had a black girlfriend, all of a sudden he's got a buzz cut, like, clean shape up. I like that. They shave their hair because they start losing it. Because they're so stressed around this black girl complaining about shit all the time. That's why they gotta shave their hair.
Nah, bro, white guys with black girlfriends, they
grow a beard because there's more cushion when they get slapped the out.
The group then jokingly referred to this phenomenon as the, quote, black girl effect.
I think the black girlfriend effect, it might be a protective instinct, bro.
You think?
Protective. Yeah. Do you guys, have you ever had black girlfriends?
Yeah.
Have you ever had white girls?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. What's your favorite? We love them all.
Yeah.
Oh, really? We love them all.
Yeah.
That means white.
Yo, who can
Now, this all seemed like a pretty funny and harmless exchange on a comedy podcast. But as we've seen in the past, the internet loves to come for a joke. And they came hard for both Flagrant and Shits and Gigs. So hard, in fact, that these British co-hosts took to their own podcast to issue an apology.
This past weekend, there's been a couple of clips going around from when we did a session on the Flagrant podcast while we were on our US tour. And there were a few jokes made that were incredibly inappropriate. One specifically pertaining to black women.
Yeah. God, I hate the internet sometimes. This is just such a ridiculous video on so many levels.
Making a joke, and we were laughing at it. And to give, first of all, before we get into like specifics or anything like that, obviously there's just literally no excuse. There is no excuse.
Agreed.
And fight or flight is a real thing. Like, it is, fight or flight is a real thing, and it's so not easy to say, but when you're in those situations, you look at it through a lens of like, bro, if it was me, I promise you I'll stand up, I'll kick them cameras down, I'll smack homeboy in the face, I'll say this, I'll do that. But when you're in there, you're in shock.
You're in shock, and all you want to do is move on.
Yeah.
Not only are they on here apologizing for having the natural reaction of laughing at a comedian, but they then go on to blame laughing as it being a fight or flight reaction. Yes, I get it. They were so scared in the moment that they had no choice but to laugh at this joke. Well, let's be real. In reality, you saw the negative press you were getting and got scared about the prospect of possibly losing sponsors. Zero integrity over there at the Shits and Gig podcast. But hey, at least they can still collect their money and make their viewers happy. Well, Well, the guys on Flagrant saw this apology video and reacted to it on air in the only appropriate manner, by making fun of it.
I've been there. I know what that's like. When you're just having fun and laughing with the boys, and you're like, I just can't wait to move on from this. Don't you know that feeling when you experience the fight or flight and then you just laugh? Does that happen to you guys when your body is just being torn with the primal urge to either fight or flight, and instead you just go,
So at this point, you'd probably think this controversy would die out. Well, you would be wrong. Enter Kendrick Lamar. And he usually escalates these beefs by rapping about them. So when Kendrick released his new album, he seemed to reference this whole incident, specifically calling out, quote, white comedians talking about black women.
all right, let's see the exact line, okay? Don't let no white comedian talk about no black woman. That's law. Now, technically speaking, if we're going off of grammatic English, okay, he's saying I can talk about black women, and that's law.
Don't let no white comedian talk about no black
So
women.
he's basically saying all white comedians
Are only allowed to
talk about black
exclusively.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
It's a law.
Finally, he understands it.
Now, while he doesn't mention Schultz by name, I don't think there have been many other white comedians that this could be referring to. But who knows? Maybe there's some guy in Texas or Florida or California who Kendrick Lamar really dislikes, and this is all just one big coincidence. The best part about comedians, though, is that they deal with hecklers, haters, and trolls on a daily basis. No one is better at shutting people down and pointing out their hypocrisies, and that's exactly what Schultz did. Schultz first points out that while Kendrick seems to have a problem with this joke, he has no problem working with South Park, which has a long history of making similar jokes.
Now I understand why he's doing a comedy with the South Park creators.
That makes
Because
sense.
he appreciates white comedians that make fun of black people.
There you go.
And they've done that brilliantly for decades.
Yeah, that's true.
And he would never want to, break one of his own laws.
No, that's true.
I mean, didn't they have a character called Token on the South Park show?
Yeah, they do.
Which I'm sure Kendrick is a big fan of.
That's true.
He must be a big fan if he's going to do a comedy with them. I mean, when you look that up, apparently he has a comedy coming out.
He then gets into the real hypocrisy of Kendrick Lamar. While he's out there taking shots at Schultz for this joke, the Flagrant crew is quick to remind everyone how Kendrick adamantly stood up for R. Kelly during his legal troubles. He even threatened to have his music removed from Spotify if the music streamer didn't put R. Kelly's music back up.
Here's what you gotta understand about Kendrick. It's very important to him to protect black women. That's why he's never done a song with an abuser confirmed. He's never done a song with anybody that's suspected of abuse. He's never threatened to remove his music from Spotify because they removed R. Kelly's music, who for sure and held captive underage black women. Hold on. This is all very important to Kendrick.
The tongue-in-cheek way that the Flagrant crew goes about calling out Kendrick is absolutely hilarious.
Just let me understand what's going on here, because I think that you're using sarcasm as a comedic device.
It is a comedic device.
But you're so smart right now that I don't know if you're serious or making a joke. Are you saying that Kendrick Lamar put it on wax that he is protecting black women from white comedians' jokes, but not the kidnapping, molestation, and of R. Kelly? And actually, in reality, he would take his own music off Spotify to protect R. Kelly?
Yeah.
Someone who's kidnapped?
Yeah.
Black women?
Children.
God, you can taste the hypocrisy all the way on the East Coast.
Are you saying that he's done songs with other men who have potentially put hands on black women?
Not potentially, confirmed.
Wait a minute, convicted?
Yeah, I don't know what you call Chris Brown, but yeah, whatever that is.
Not crazy!
This is just another reminder to rappers and really any other entertainers out there, if you don't want the smoke, don't come for comedians. Because they are experts at finding your weak points and will hit you with them as hard as they can. The funniest part about the whole response, though, is when Schultz says he would physically be able to handle the 5'6" Kendrick Lamar without a problem. He even goes on to say that if they were in jail together, Schultz would use him as a pillow.
He's a pillow.
Yeah.
Why are you in jail cell for this? No, but I could use him as a pillow. That's what I could do. I could be like, yo, put your thighs at the end of my bed. I'm gonna rest my head on it while I go sleep, and there's nothing he could do about it.
Now, while of course there are these loyal Kendrick supporters out there, thankfully most on the internet have been taking Schultz's side in the beef and recognizing the hypocrisy behind Kendrick's recent lyrics.
Dear Aubrey, did you really think this was all about a shirt and some scripts? This was about diamonds in all caps. Time for some hard truths. And people were quick to put two and two together that Drake's dog's name is Diamond.
The Drake controversy has escalated dramatically, with accusations surfacing from a mysterious online persona, Ebony Prince 2K4, alleging serious misconduct. Claims include Drake's involvement in inappropriate activities with underage girls and mistreatment of animals, specifically dogs. This has sparked a broader discussion about hidden issues within the music industry. The situation intensified when Kendrick Lamar's lyrics in Meet the Grams hinted at disturbing allegations against Drake, supported by supposed evidence like prescription medications and personal items depicted on album art. Speculation swirls around whether Kendrick or Kanye West might be behind the anonymous revelations, adding complexity to an already explosive narrative.
Cover art is
contains things that is from Drake's Pop's suitcase. So Drake's Pop's suitcase had these things in it. Don't know how he got a hold of it. Don't know how this happened to get in Kendrick's hand. But apparently Kendrick Lamar must have got a hold of Drake's dad's suitcase. So we're talking about Dennis Graham, which is Drake's pops. Wow. Wow. Remember all that talk about leaks in the camp?
Fast forward to May 11th, and boom, out of nowhere, this mysterious figure named Ebony Prince 2K24 pops up with a video on X. And what's in the video? Those same items we saw on the Meet the Grams cover, plus a sneaky shot of a copy of the Daily Eagle dated Wednesday, May 8th. Talk about unexpected. 1. King Kendrick Lamar is not a liar, and I am not a thief. 2. Drake and academics have until noon Monday, May 13th, 2024, to retract your claims of theft, or my attorney and I will exhaust every legal option available. The controversy surrounding Ebony Prince, nicknamed the Riddler, has sent social media into a frenzy with wild theories and accusations against Drake. Some speculate Ebony Prince could be Kendrick Lamar or Kanye West, using a burner account to expose Drake's alleged secrets. Ebony Prince escalated the drama by sharing supposed surveillance footage from Drake's visit to the Mark Hotel, implicating Drake in questionable activities. This sparked intense online speculation and accusations, including Drake's involvement in disturbing incidents with dogs, fueled further by leaked audio clips. Despite denials from figures like Christopher Alvarez, who was wrongly implicated, the internet remains abuzz with unverified claims and conjecture, drawing parallels to Kendrick Lamar's provocative allegations in his diss track, Meet the Grams. There's also this crazy Reddit thread where a user dropped a huge bombshell. They claimed that a model from Toronto told them that Drake has women doing some really degrading stuff with dog bowls. Yeah, you heard that right. Dog bowls. Wild, right? Here's what the thread said. I swear to God I am not making this up. About 4 or 5 years ago, a model I knew from Toronto said Drake made girls puke in dog bowls for him. If you check my comment history, I even said if Kendrick brought up Drake having sick tendencies, he was done for. The Drake controversy continues to evolve with new twists and allegations emerging. Recently, speculation has linked Drake's album title, For All the Dogs, to disturbing rumors involving women and actual dogs at parties. This theory gained traction alongside claims from a figure named E. Prince, who allegedly possesses incriminating footage of Drake at such events. Moreover, scrutiny isn't just on Drake. High-profile figures like Universal Music Group CEO Lucien Grange are also under the microscope, accused by Kanye West of exerting significant influence over Drake's career and personal life. Kanye West has been outspoken about these issues, accusing Drake of being financially and emotionally tied to Grange in what he describes as a rich baby daddy relationship. West's revelations suggest deeper entanglements in both the music industry and potentially broader financial dealings, hinting at connections that extend beyond music into other sectors, including banking. This ongoing saga has captivated social media, fueling intense speculation and discussion about the dynamics behind Drake's career and personal controversies.
Drake has a rich baby daddy named Lucien and Universal.
Wow.
He's like, like, man, my daddy got it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, my daddy controlled the spins. My daddy got the DSPs. My daddy. Drake has a rich baby daddy named Lucien.
All right, buckle up because things are about to get even juicier. In this explosive interview with Justin LeBoy, Kanye West took his beef with Drake to a whole new level, hinting at something way beyond your typical rap feud. Kanye's tone was a mix of mystery and absolute belief. He suggested there was more to their rift than meets the eye, almost like it had cosmic significance. In simple terms, Kanye implied that Drake's unwillingness to pack things up was akin to striking a deal with the devil, trading away his soul for their ongoing feud. Kanye also opened up about how his track Like That Remix came to be and what it was like in the studio. He described a strong sense of determination, a real team effort aimed at, as he put it, eliminating Drake. This wasn't just a burst of excitement, it was a focused, intense energy. The song's lyrics didn't hold back, with Kanye taking direct shots at both Drake and J. Cole. His delivery was just as powerful as his words, keeping us all hooked with every line. And when he mentioned Kendrick Lamar, it was clear that new alliances were forming in the middle of this rap feud, which we all know adds even more drama to the story. As the interview went on, Kanye West dropped even more bombshells. He casually brought up Diddy's past controversies with a few simple but sharp comments, hinting at those old assault allegations. This definitely added another layer to the ongoing drama. And let's be real, we all know that Diddy and Drake have had their own twisted moments. So, when Kanye spilled the tea about Drake and Luciana's freaky hookups, it wasn't all that shocking. It seems like the big names in the music industry always end up taking advantage of those below them. You can't send none of y'all Meek Mills, y'all Puffies, y'all Lil Boozies, none of these names. None of these people that have to listen to y'all. I never killed nobody. I'm the expletive that never killed nobody. But that means I can say whatever I want. The ongoing feud between Kanye West and Drake has been a roller coaster ride of drama, public spats, and strategic moves aimed at staying in the spotlight of the hip-hop world. Kanye's involvement in controversy stretches back to the days of the Drake versus Kendrick Lamar rivalry, where he often found himself entangled in the drama, whether by choice or circumstance. One notable incident was Kanye allegedly leaking Drake's home address on Instagram, a move that could be seen as provocative in the world of rap beefs. Drake's response, in contrast, was to brush it off casually, demonstrating a classic Drake tactic of nonchalance in the face of controversy. Kanye continued to escalate tensions by producing Pusha T's diss track, Infrared, which directly confronted Drake for using ghostwriters, a practice frowned upon in the hip-hop community. This move not only sparked a fiery exchange of diss tracks between Pusha T and Drake, but also kept Kanye at the center of the feud, shaping the narrative and dynamics of the ongoing conflict. Further adding fuel to the fire, Kanye released Life of the Party during the Donda era, taking direct shots at Drake and others perceived to be crossing his path. Despite not making the final album cut, the song stirred controversy and contributed to the ongoing saga between the two artists. Kanye's motivations in this feud appear multifaceted. Beyond musical rivalry, he seems driven by a desire for respect and validation in the hip-hop community, willing to provoke and stir controversy to maintain his prominence. His actions, while divisive, ensure he remains a central figure in the ongoing discourse of rap beefs and industry dynamics. As long as there's drama to be had, Kanye West is likely to be right in the thick of it, using his platform and influence to shape conversations and assert his place in the competitive world of hip-hop.
Your thoughts on the lawsuit?
Next question.
I just gotta ask, yeah.
Next question, well, you know, we on the West, we hold court in the streets, cuz.
Did Snoop Dogg drag Drake over his beef with UMG Records? Here's what happened. Okay, so we all know Snoop has been going around promoting his album, right? I mean, his upcoming album, Missionary, is actually produced by Dr. Dre, yes, the same Dre behind The Chronic in 2001. So you already know it's about to be iconic. However, Snoop is making headlines not just because of his upcoming drop. This happened after he allegedly made comments regarding Drake's mess with UMG.
Snoop didn't want to answer the question. He's like, yo, next question. But he's like, nah, answer it. So he said, on the West Coast, we hold court in the streets.
Like, Snoop's been hitting all the right spots with his press run lately, but it's what happened outside the music talk that really stole the show. In an interview, Kev brought up the legal drama between Drake and UMG, and y'all know how sensitive this whole topic has been in the industry. Initially, Snoop hit him with a classic no comment and asked the host to proceed with the next question. I mean, typical Snoop, right? But then he kind of leaned into it and boom, he dropped this gem. Snoop basically said, forget the lawyers, handle it in the streets. Okay, he didn't exactly say those words, but based on what he did say, fans believe he was hinting at something similar. Now, I don't know about y'all, but that's big West Coast energy right there. He kept it short, but the message, clear as day. It's funny though, Snoop's all about that street code, but let's be real, not everybody's built like that. Drake's out here lawyering up, suing Universal Music Group over some alleged shady dealings with his catalog, and y'all already know how Drake's celebrity friends reacted. Luckily, some had his back, while others were just watching the drama unfold with that pass the popcorn kind of energy. energy.
Drake is taking legal action regarding the Kendrick Lamar beef, and I got my hands on the petition that his attorneys filed in Manhattan court today, and it is juicy. So let's get into it.
Of course, 50 Cent made sure to join the chat saying, "I've never seen a rap battle end up in court." Let's not forget how Punch also shared his 2 cents about the matter, saying, "Now the rap streets is done." SMH Mustard, who produced K. Dot's blockbuster single as well as Hey Now and TV Off from his most recent album GNX, responded with, "OMG, LM fail." Meanwhile, Rhapsody tried to join the conversation but decided to delete her post. However, fans were quick enough to capture everything. Better luck next time. In the post, she wrote, "Legal action over losing a rap beef? My, not like us at all. Culture over everything." But let's slide into the part everyone's been buzzing about. Snoop's convo about Kendrick Lamar. Yup, Snoop and K. Dot have been talking, y'all. Now, if you've been keeping up, you probably caught Kendrick's opening track on GNX, Waxed Out Murals. In it, Kendrick called out one of his OG mentors for, well, let's just say, dropping the ball. People started speculating. Was he talking about Snoop? But here's where it gets wild. Snoop actually reposted Drake's AI-generated tailor-made freestyle to Instagram, right in the middle of Kendrick and Drizzy's ongoing feud. I mean, come on, y'all. Snoop blamed it on the edibles. Classic Uncle Snoop move. But you gotta respect that he was quick to apologize, calling Kendrick the West King on X right after. In the interview, Snoop kept it real about why he didn't get defensive. He said, he's a rapper. He's supposed to speak his mind and tell his truth. And as Kendrick's OG, Snoop said he had to respect where it was coming from. He even called himself Kendrick's big homebody, which, y'all, how can you not love Snoop for that? Now, fans are saying that Snoop might be trying to back up K. Dot on this one, but what do you guys think? Let us know in the comments below, and make sure to stay tuned for more.
Who's back? Tekashi 6ix9ine, the walking headline and controversy magnet, is officially free after his latest stint in jail. But don't get it twisted. This isn't some easy homecoming story. The Fefi rapper's release is loaded with drama, conditions, and a whole lot of questions about what's next. So back in November, 6ix9ine was sentenced to 45 days behind bars for racking up 5 probation violations. We're talking testing positive for meth, failing tests, and an unauthorized trip to Las Vegas. And the Vegas trip. His lawyer claimed it was for a performance, but the court wasn't buying it. Judge Paul Engelmayer had no chill, calling Tekashi's actions a profound breach of the court's trust and dragging him for thinking he's above the rules just because he's a famous rapper. Dude is getting roasted. But wait, it gets better. Facing the heat, 6ix9ine stood before the court and pleaded for leniency, admitting his mistakes but insisting he's a good person. Yikes! The judge wasn't exactly moved, but he did give Tekashi another shot at freedom with some serious strings attached. So, fast forward to December. After 45 days in Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center, 6ix9ine is free, but not free. The man's got a probation extension, an electronic ankle monitor, and a strict homestay order. Oh, and get this. He's required to maintain a full-time, lawful job. Sounds simple, right? Wrong. That might not sit well with his rap career, where lawful isn't exactly the vibe. That's not all. His recent deal with Cartel Music Group has a no-nonsense clause. No legal issues, no arrests, and no online beef. The king of Insta drama can't pop off online anymore. So will Tekashi reinvent himself and prove he can stay in line? Or is he destined to make another headline for all the wrong reasons? Time will tell. And that's not the only plot twist that has the internet going wild. An AI-generated Lil Wayne diss track aimed at Kendrick Lamar has gone viral, leaving fans confused, hyped, and scratching their heads. People's feed was blowing up with Lil Wayne's unmistakable New Orleans voice dropping bars against none other than Kendrick Lamar. Sounds wild, right? Well, plot twist. It's all fake. We're talking artificial intelligence, not Weezy himself. This AI-generated diss track has been making the rounds, and honestly, some fans are convinced it's real. But here's the thing. There's not just one. There are multiple fake diss tracks floating around, each claiming to pit Wayne against Kendrick. Talk about chaos! Fans are straight up spiraling. Some are debating if it's real, while others are clowning the tech. Now fans are digging even deeper into this supposed beef. But why are people so obsessed with the idea of Kendrick versus Wayne? Well, first off, there's the mirror rapper's loyalty to Drake. Remember when Kendrick lyrically bodied Drizzy earlier this year? That alone could stir the pot, but it gets even juicier. Next year's Super Bowl halftime show is set to take place in New Orleans, Wayne's home turf. But guess who's headlining? Kendrick Lamar. Fans have been side-eyeing the NFL and Jay-Z, questioning why a New Orleans legend like Weezy didn't get the nod. Add some hometown pride to the mix, and you've got the perfect recipe for speculation. And here's where things get spicy. On Kendrick's latest album, GNX, he dropped a line on the opening track, Whacked Out Murals, that had fans side-eyeing Wayne. Kendrick rapped, "Used to to bump the Carter to 3. I held my Raleigh chain proud. Irony. I think my hard work let Lil Wayne down. Oof. Some took this as Kendrick calling out Wheezy directly. And of course, Wayne couldn't just let that slide. He apparently fired back on Twitter, keeping the rumors alive and well. So maybe fans don't need AI to make this beef a reality after all. And that's not the only wild reality check that's got the hip-hop world in a chokehold. Tyler, the creator, just spilled what his first executive order would be if he were president and you're not ready for it. So, during his latest Billboard cover story, Tyler casually dropped the mic, literally and metaphorically saying, if he were president, the first thing he'd do is take podcast mics away from people. No more hot takes, no more wild debates, just pure silence. Now let's be real, the earthquake rapper's not entirely wrong. We've all heard those chaotic relationship debates, or the kind of unhinged conversations that make you question humanity. Tyler's point is that not every thought needs a microphone. Ironically, the rapper himself is no stranger to podcasts. Remember his appearance on Mavericks with Mav Carter back in August? He went off on internet culture, even calling out a certain white kid for mocking icons like Future and Gucci Mane. So yeah, Tyler's got thoughts, but he's selective about sharing them. So what do you think? Is Tyler onto something with his Ban the Podcast Mike's agenda? Or is he just stirring the pot? Wiz Khalifa just went off on Drake for turning the Kendrick beef into a courtroom drama, and it's gone viral. On Shannon Sharp's Club Shay Shay podcast, Wiz didn't hold back, saying he's low-key not surprised Drake pulled the lawyer card. He's like, I'm tired of niggas acting like they're cool with each other. Just speak how you really feel, bro. And when they hit him with the whole legal drama about Drake suing Universal Music Group for allegedly using streaming bots and payola to boost Kendrick's diss track, Not Like Us, Wiz was like, it sounds like a Drake move to me. He dropped a truth bomb too, saying Drizzy's always got to be winning, even if it's in the courtroom instead of the charts. Smart move, but it's still a real shady flex. But it gets crazier, fam. When asked if the beef is all for clout, Wiz went full savage, saying, nah, I don't think them with each other at all. It's just how the industry is, and all of that's coming to an end now. And it's all spilling out, and you're getting to see it. Wiz ain't the only one calling out Drake, though. 50 Cent jumped in, too, dropping a wild theory that Drake's legal play is really just about stopping Kendrick from performing Not Like Us at the Super Bowl halftime show next year. Like, this whole beef just turned into a whole wrestling match. The plot twists are crazy, but this is next level shady. We got another crazy news as Ice Spice just dropped some insane before and after weight loss photos, and the internet can't handle it. After her jaw-dropping performance on X, fans couldn't stop talking about the Munch rapper's toned new look. But here's the twist. Some people are still speculating about how she did it, especially with those Ozempic rumors that popped off months ago. Ice Spice already shut that down back in August, but that didn't stop the internet from blowing up again when her new pictures hit the feed. Some fans couldn't help but crack jokes, like one person saying, the ice melted, referring to her slimmer physique. Another wild comparison came through, with someone saying she looked like a grown-up Chucky doll. And honestly, same energy, Evel Lowell. Other folks were throwing in their 2 cents, with one user joking, the Spice kicking her and another saying, she's skinny AF, probably got a disease. But the real ones came through to defend her. One fan dropped some wisdom saying, funny thing is, she probably ain't even do too much. She's 24. She probably just started eating food with actual nutrition. Another person hit back at the haters with, so it's a crime to lose weight now? She probably wanted to be slim, so she worked out and probably lost weight. IDK why people are so mean. And of course, some fans are just here for the vibes, saying, she's still fine. Either way, Ice Spice is out here doing her thing. And whether she's on a new fitness journey or just living her best life, the haters really need to chill. The vibes are off for you, Icy. Speaking of off vibes, 50 Cent's got jokes, mocking Jay-Z with a wild AI arrest video that's breaking the internet. 50 Cent is back at it again, trolling Jay-Z over those ongoing rape allegations, and this time, he's wild with it. In his latest jab, he dropped an AI-generated video of Jay-Z and Diddy getting led to jail while sipping wine. And honestly, it's too much. Both moguls are named in a rape lawsuit filed by Texas lawyer Tony Busby. And even though Jay-Z has denied the accusations and is taking legal action, 50 Cent won't let up. The post, which has since been deleted, showed Jay-Z and Diddy getting handcuffed by officers and walking to jail together, with the caption, I want to post this, but I'm afraid I'm gonna get shot. LOL, classic 50. This isn't the first time Fif has gone after Jay-Z, though. Earlier, he trolled Jay for attending the Mufasa The Lion King premiere with his daughter, Blue Ivy, while facing those serious allegations, writing, Jay said they said I rap sick a kid. Everybody get dressed, we going to see Mufasa LOL. And remember when he threw shade at Jay-Z over the Super Bowl? He posted, okay, I don't know what's going on, but are we gonna still have the Super Bowl? I'm just asking for a friend, with that meme of himself looking confused. Fans immediately started speculating that 50 Cent was throwing shade at Jay-Z's role with the Super Bowl halftime show through Roc Nation's deal with Apple Music. The trolling is relentless, and fans are loving it, but also kind of shocked at how far 50 Cent is taking it this
Getting dragged tagged after dropping a few photos during Christmas, and it seems like fans are not happy about it, okay? Here's what happened. We all know that the holidays are pretty much the most wonderful time of the year, right? And for someone like Drake, who has been, dealing with a lot since early this year, I think we can all agree that he just wants to have a blast. Well, it seems like that won't happen anytime soon, especially after fans clowned him so badly for his recent Christmas photos. In case you've been out of the loop, let me tell you why. All right, Drake's out here shutting down 2024 negativity like he shuts down the charts, boldly and unapologetically, okay? Maybe that's the reason why he chose that interesting fur coat for his pictures. Okay, can we just take a moment? The man's out here giving us winter chic meets petty king realness. Some fans were quick to give him kudos for his bold fashion choice. Just look at this fan who literally called him a diva. But guess what? Not everyone is happy. I mean, there are people who think he's doing too much. And again, his fashion choices are pretty much over the top. And the comments? Well, they're pretty savage if you ask me. Like, these people are not letting Drake breathe, y'all. Take this fan, for example, who left a comment saying, the corniest artist ever. Another fan even wrote, he looks like he just finished crying after his lawyer told him he's getting nowhere with his lawsuit against Kendrick. Speaking of Kendrick, fans also noticed something else. I mean, aside from his massive coat, of course, it's actually about the caption, and you know it's layered, just like that fur coat. Now, let's talk about that caption, okay? Drake wrote, used to look up to some people, then I hit a growth spurt. Is it just holiday banter? Or is Drake throwing some serious shade at Kendrick? First off, the timing here is too good to ignore. Kendrick's track Not Like Us had the internet buzzing with claims that Drake is the sellout of the century. And now, Drizzy's out here flexing a fur coat with a caption that sounds like it's aimed right at the Compton King himself. Y'all remember push-ups, right? Drake took it there, mocking Kendrick's big stepping with the infamous, how the f*** you big stepping with a size 7 men's on? Now, add this growth spurt line to the mix and it's giving Petty King strikes again. At least, that's what fans are saying. And let's not act like the dollar emoji is random. Drake knows he's got the bank to back up his flex, and he's making sure everyone, including Kendrick, remembers that. I mean, the numbers don't lie. Kendrick might be headlining the Super Bowl halftime show, but Drizzy's out here reminding us that when it comes to stacking paper, they're not in the same league. And speaking of leagues, let's talk about Drake's next play. He's taking on Spotify and Universal Music Group, claiming Kendrick's Not Like Us got an artificial streaming boost. And if you think this legal move isn't connected to their ongoing feud, think again. Drake's basically saying, you need fake streams to compete with me. And honestly, this is classic Drake. Whether it's a diss track, a court case, or a fur coat moment, the man knows how to dominate the headlines. But what do you guys think about Drake's Christmas photos? And was he shading K. Dot again? Let us know in the comments and make sure to stick around because this mess is not yet over.
And Gunna beefing now? Sensational. Is Gunna safe from anyone?
So you let the hype come to you.
Oh, God. Ever since he was released from jail, it seems like everyone is starting to turn against him. Well, maybe not exactly everyone. Offset and Gunna released a new song together, so I guess in that sense, Offset wouldn't be included. But it's definitely a good amount of rappers. Future and Gunna may have a beef boiling up after they started subliminally tweeting each other. Or so we think.
What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean?
Future and Gunna were set to release their new projects on the same date. We've seen plenty of artists drop at the same time, especially now that rappers have free reign over posting their music instead of having to go through a record label to do it. The difference with this situation is Future and Gunna tweeted some stuff out that may suggest they're going head to head. And not in a good way. Future tweeted that his mixtape is better than someone's album. Gunna tweeted right after that asking what is he talking about. Obviously no one backed down from releasing their project on that date. But what does this say about Future and Gunna's relationship?
Ay, no es bueno.
Does this have anything to do with Gunna's snitching allegations? Gunna wasn't the only one who got the opportunity to sign a plea deal for an immediate release. Those same people are being accused of snitching too, including Young Thug's brother. Till this day, Gunna says he didn't snitch.
Wasn't me. Wait, I just heard you. It wasn't me.
But ever since he's been free, rappers have been taking their shots. Some of the rappers have even built a relationship with him before he got locked up. Lil Baby has been assumed as the closest person to Gunna outside of Thug because of how much they were around each other. But all of that seems to have come to an end.
Yeah, you had it on that day.
have fun all day.
He's mentioned not messing with rats before, but making his stance very clear about Gunna when he stopped this DJ from playing Drip Too Hard. Lil Durk has even said that he hates Gunna because he ratted on Young Thug. The list doesn't stop there.
Currently ranked 6th on my all-time enemies list.
Other YSL members have spoken about Gunna snitching and the disappointment in him. Other rappers have made fun of him being in that situation. Could Future just be planting his feet in the sand for where he stands with Gunna, like how Lil Baby did? Future constantly says he doesn't mess with rats either. If he views Gunna as one, then that would mean he's not rocking with him at all.
She belongs to the streets.
Future and Thug likely have a relationship that's closer behind the scenes than on camera. Future and Metro Boomin sparked off a wild beef that's been going on between Drake, Kendrick Lamar, Rick Ross, and more.
Boy.
It seems like everyone is throwing diss tracks at each other. But when Kendrick sent this verse on Future and Metro Boomin's project that took shots at Drake and J. Cole, everyone started realizing that the entire project may have been about Drake.
Wow.
And he didn't stop there. Future and Metro released another mixtape to complement that one a week later. Even more artists like A$AP Rocky and The Weeknd sent shots at Drake for whatever reason. Perhaps Future calling Drake his #1 fan is the inspiration behind the tweet.
Perhaps.
If Future believes that he's the one that Drake is trying to be like, then he should definitely feel comfortable saying that his mixtape is better than his album, right?
I shouldn't even be this happy.
Since rappers are starting to get out of their shell at this point and addressing folks by name, then we should expect Future and Gunna to say each other's names directly if they really do have beef. But so far, the tweet Future put out ended up being a lyric to a song he did with T Grizzly. Still doesn't mean he can't direct it to someone specifically. If it is toward Gunna, then what happens next?